um, um, that that the Forced Unleash is worse than TCW in terms of the EU. I'm like, are you fucking serious?
I mean, I have my dislikes for it, uh, but it's not that much worse. It's not nearly worse. After all, there are
It's not even.
separate
It's not even
planets that
one
have their
tenth.
entire ecology changed.
It's not even 1/10 of as bad as.
And having the rebellion leaders physically be on the Death Star does contradict a lot of stuff like Interlude Dark now. And I
Yeah, but it
really
doesn't
don't like
contradict
it.
like every fucking episode that does in TCW.
Yes, that's fair enough. Uh,
Like, let's not even compare. That's like comparing a
I mean, I
fire.
suppose it
That's like
depends
that's like comparing
whether.
a firecracker to a fucking nuclear bomb in terms of cannon breaking.
That's fair enough.
I mean, it's just it's a stupid take. I mean,
Yeah, I know. It's just I really did. I mean, I liked some of what they did with the rebellion leaders. I liked,
I, I
especially in the.
also I want to make it clear. I don't like the book. I think the book is fucking terrible. I think both the books are terribly written. And yeah, they do break a lot of shit, but there's just no way it could be worse than TCW. There's no way.
Yeah, well, I remember quite liking the TFU's. What do you call it? The Wii version or the Wii PSP PS2 version. It
Yeah,
had all
That
those
was the
extra
version of the game that
levels.
I played. I only played the Wii version of the game, and it was I thought it was a great version of the game. I watched playthroughs of it on other platforms, and I thought the Wii version was great.
Is there a way I can turn up how loud I hear individual people? Because
No, that's just me. I have no mic, so I sound like
all right, yeah, I
quiet.
wanted to see if there was a way I could turn you up on my end, but not through Streamlabs. It sounds like a Discord call,
No,
right?
no.
yeah. Um, yeah. I played the PS3 version. I loved it. I mean, here's the thing: like, you can hate the game all you want, but the developer's job is not to care about
Yeah,
to care
I think
about about the EU canon. They were
that's
just
yeah. That's the
they were asked to make a game that was fun, and they did it. It was
yeah.
on whoever wrote the book that fucked it up.
Well, not the book, but the script for the game in general. The book actually
Hayden
does try
Blackman
to
wrote it,
walk
right?
back some of
Hayden
what the
Blackman.
script does.
Hayden Blackman was the guy who wrote the game, I believe.
Yeah, the game and the basic rundown for the novel. And I think
Yeah.
part of this is because Blackman was so used to George being somewhat hands off with the comics, which is what he had been writing before then.
Hmm.
And well, I think he had also worked on Bounty Hunter the game, but George had been very hands off before that, and he'd gotten a little bit more hands on, so he kind of just assumed that meant that like this was the same level as TCW as far as part of George's rewriting, which it wasn't, because then honestly, even then, George was just kind of a lot more laissez-faire about things than people seem to.
I think George was just out of it at this point. I think he knew he was going to sell the company at that point.
This was like 5 years before he sold. 6?
It was 2008, I believe, right?
Yeah, but
8, and he sold in 14, was it?
Yeah.
I thought it was 2012.
Well, I mean, he announced that he was selling it earlier, but weren't negotiations still going on for a couple? For a
I don't
year?
know, but
I think he knew he was going to sell. I think he did.
maybe he did. Honestly, if I feel bad about it. But what else? But yeah, I quite like them. They're pretty good, the novellas. Some of the changes are a little bit weird, like having him go all the way down pretty much to the bottom of Narshada instead of just a few floors down after shooting off 88's arm. I like the little interval where 88 just kills a guy for sticking him in a coat room.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
just a fucking droid asshole.
that's a funny scene. But Are there any other
Of course, that would
novellas
be played off as heroic these days.
in Star Wars? Not Star Wars, in the EU?
Are there any other what?
Novellas. I can't think of
Yeah,
any
well,
other than those.
there's some of the ebooks, like
I don't-
New Jedi Order Recovery,
Oh yeah, the little ebooks that came along with New Jedi Order for
Watchdog of the Sith. You know,
those could count. I mean, wouldn't the Daily and fuck, what's his name? The one who did the Lando stuff, the Daily Han stuff,
but
and
I think those were considered novels, were they not?
they're more novella pulp length-ish than
That's
they are.
true. It says novel on them, but they're more length of the typical novella.
Yeah, and they're
Yeah.
definitely more in the style of a pulp novella.
Yeah, I forgot about the Lost Tribe of Sith ones.
Then there's Lightsider. That's a novella, unpublished.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Well,
yeah.
it
How
was
could
a
I forget
script
about
for a
that?
comic that came out as a novella that,
Yeah.
didn't come out officially at all, but
I've been reading the copy that I was forwarded. It's really good.
I'm sure it is. There is a little bit of like overlap with Lightsider in with, or at least stuff that I don't remember being in the comic when I was listening to the
Dark Empire audio drama.
Dark Empire audio drama. There's a little more of Luke and Cam's fight.
I'm really happy that Lightsiders finally come out because it really does make the whole Dark Empire trilogy better. In my opinion. It adds a lot to it, in my opinion.
I was gonna say Solusar stuff is cool. Shoot, there was one other thing I was gonna say. The Dark Empire audio dramas. I didn't know John Saigon, aka motherfucking Canderous Ordo, was Luke in those. And he was also Ulick in the Tales of the Jedi ones, which I am so mad were canceled. I am furious. I could become a fucking Sith with how angry I am at them not finishing the Sith War and Redemption as audiobooks or audio dramas.
Yeah,
They were really good audio dramas.
The Tales of the Jedi ones.
When did
heard all of the Dark Empire ones?
When did the EU just stop doing audio dramas?
Sometime in the mid 90s, before they finished the Tales of the Jedi.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, they didn't finish that.
They never finished it. They never did the Sith War, which is the actual part where Ulick and Exar Kun go around, recruit the Mandalorians, and do all of that that stuff.
Yeah, I wish
they never did Redemption, which is Ulick's redemption.
I wish they would have finished that, but at that point, I understand. Like that meeting.
And obviously, they can't now because John Saigon is dead, and they wouldn't anyway because there's a whole bunch of issues with the rights, which is the only reason they're still up on YouTube, because like Lucasfilm never really renewed their contract with the people who were making the audio dramas, so neither of them are bothering to take down YouTube videos of them.
I don't think they care. Audio dramas are so
niche. Yeah,
they're so niche, and by that in the 90s, at that point, at that point, they probably said this isn't worth it anymore. This is in the 1970s.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, I really, really wanted Lightsider, or the new Sith War, the Sith War, and Redemption, because Ulick's story is one of the best in Legends.
Are the Dark Empire audio dramas anywhere near as good as the Tales of the Jedi ones were?
They're very good, and the first one has Billy D. Williams as Lando.
Oh, nice.
Dark Empire 2, though, replaces Lando with another character, because they were like, Billy D's not making it, but he did us such a wonderful favor being here for the first one. We are not recasting him, we're just replacing Lando with another character for Wedge to talk to in the droid attack. Lando just doesn't go to Biss. He's just not there, because they just have Wedge talking to some random guy. And Wedge is fucking Australian for some reason. Or New Zealand or South African or something like that.
What are accents in space, right?
Yes.
You know what's crazy? Like audio dramas really peaked in the 80s. Like I remember listening to this BBC directed Batman one. It was freaking fantastic. I mean,
I've heard there's a lot of and before that you had radio plays all the time. I mean,
yeah, and they kind of died out but then they had a brief resurgence in the 70s, 80s, in the 90s, and then they
They
died
did.
out again.
Yeah.
I mean, like they did a whole Nightfall adaptation on BBC One radio with Michael Gough as freaking Alfred from the he was Alfred in the Batman movies at the
Oh
time.
my god.
Yeah, it's really big budget. It really
Nightfall. That's
feels.
the Bane one, right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's
You can
interesting.
find that on YouTube. Yeah, it's just free on
Interesting,
YouTube.
because I need something for my commute these days.
Yeah, you should give it a. There's a Superman one as well. There's another Batman one, and there's a Nightfall one. Yeah, you should give it a listen. It's great. It's really high budget, and none of the. I can't remember. It's been so long since I listened. I don't think any of the voice actors are British, except for Alfred. I don't think, because I don't think they can get away with that. Like it'd be really weird to hear Batman as like British. It'd just
Or
be
they're
weird.
just very good at doing an American accent. I mean, there's Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, it could be that
Like,
too, but
you watch House, you'd never know the guy was fucking British.
it could be that. Yeah, but radio dramas pretty much died out. It's yeah, sadly. What else was it? Yeah, but imagine if New Jedi Order got a freaking radio drama. Oh my goodness.
That would be a lot. I'll settle for I'll settle for somebody stealing the rest of the Congressional Archive. You know, this is supposed to be for blind people only. Full-length audiobooks. Because a few of those have been stolen and put on YouTube.
How can you steal from the Library of Congress? Aren't they supposed to make it public?
Only for the blind. It's part of the deal with Lucasfilm.
That's fucking stupid.
But yeah, like it's a special program that's supposed to be only for the blind, and
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's cool, but yeah, what was it?
so present feature. What's this about Marble Hornets that Alex is linking?
There's something that he's been wanting to react to on his channel that he's watched several times and he wanted other people to.
All right.
Did you hear that? My voice is like really quiet.
It is very low, yes. Yeah,
Do you guys know how to share? Like share a tab?
No, not right now. Anyway, I see Marcel's in the chat. Shout out to Marcel. Get better, buddy. He's got real real bad COVID, so get better.
yeah, kick its butt.
I think he's a bit better now because he recorded some more of his short story readings.
I don't think I talked to him in private. I don't think he's going to be recording for a little bit.
No,
These might have been old uploads.
To over the last 2 days.
No, I talked to him today. I don't
Oh.
think you're going to get like.
Okay, that's interesting. I talked to him like today and yesterday.
Yeah, he doesn't have taste
Voice
or
is
smell.
better, no taste or smell.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which is. Yeah. Thankfully, when I got COVID, I didn't have that. But yeah.
Ooh, the Back to War, November 1st. Oh, unfortunately, the place that I listen to the audiobooks has not updated with the full length, with the unabridged.
Yeah. Okay, so how pissed off will Alex be when somebody eventually makes an audiobook of the Bounty Hunter Wars?
I mean, he can use it as a sleep aid if it's so damn boring.
Yeah, I mean,
I could probably use it as a sleep aid. It's a mystery book, and that's about all I kind of like it for. It feels spooky. You know how a lot of the times I'll complain that it feels like the rest of the galaxy isn't a thing in some works?
Yeah.
It feels that way in the Bounty Hunter Wars, but in a good way, which is hard to explain.
Yeah. My biggest problem with the Bounty Hunter Wars is it ruins Forlom and Zuckus.
That's not entirely his fault. That's just something that the Shadows of the Empire comic fucked up, and he kind of had to roll with. Shadows of the Empire made Zuckuss fucking lame as hell and blew off Forlom's head.
Yeah,
No,
and gave us no good ending for Dash Rendar.
hmm
I mean, I'm sorry, Dash Rendar banging. What's the android's name?
Guri.
Guri. That's not a good ending. I'm sorry. I don't care. I don't care how good you think that is. And
I mean, the follow-up bit where he like tries to necromance his dead brother was interesting. But that
yeah, but
didn't come until way the fuck later in New Jedi Order.
yeah, but if you told me, yeah, this is Dash Rendar. This is before those two novels came out.
Yeah,
Um,
Dash and Guri just fucking getting into the necromancy business was weird as fuck.
yeah,
Like that's and the weird thing is like the way their system works, that's not his brother. Like, yeah, sure, he can keep other people immortal because he actually figured out how to copy the soul somehow, despite, Cray Migla and actual Jedi not being able to figure out how to do that. He just did it.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I think Dash Rendar was like you could have turned him in to
you know,
something other than a Han Solo ripoff if you really wanted to, and they just didn't. They just didn't do it. So, which it is what it is. He'll always be remembered for that game, which is great, but he'll never be not remembered for it.
yeah. I was gonna say that's gonna be a fun set of lore videos when various lore channels get to bothering with them, or when Corey and Eck get to it probably, in their read through a New Jedi Order, when they're not palling around with the Zeri nationalists.
What?
Nothing. I just don't like kings and generals.
I don't even know what you're talking about. Um.
Corey loses and Eckhart's ladders. They sometimes pal around with a guy who's apparently like. I don't want to repeat things I'm not 100% sure of.
I mean, I don't really watch their videos. I mean, all I know Eckhart for is like he likes the EU. He's a big Halo fan. He was dick riding Halo Infinite, and
For a little while and then got bored of it. Like everyone
yes,
else.
yeah. So I can't really respect anybody who was dick riding a game that everybody knew was bad. So, um, yeah, it was. What was it? Yeah, I mean, that's what I hate about Shadows of the Empire comic is they made Forlom and Zuckuss like fucking jabronis. Like
Yeah.
you could have really done something with them. Like you could have had them be like the opposite of Fett. Like
Yeah.
I'll be honest.
And they
with
were
you.
literally undercover for the rebellion, but only because other books said, "Oh yeah, this is a contradiction we have to fix right now." Including Jeter. Jeter was like, "Oh yeah, these guys were working for the rebellion. I guess I have to put in that they were double agents and that things went sideways and they were actually trying to rescue Han." Or at
Yeah.
least
Oh shit, am I fucking on here now?
Yeah,
yes,
you're
you
on
are
here.
now on.
Boys, I'll be honest, I don't really know where I am or what's going on right now. I saw an invite in my DMs and now here I am.
Yeah,
Are you high?
we're
You
streaming
sound like you're high.
on.
Bro,
We're
I'm
streaming-
high end like fucking 5 beers deep right now. I don't even know what's going on.
We are on Alex's channel being broadcast to the world, and I've
Oh,
just committed. I just realized we are live,
Yeah,
and,
we've been live.
and that mild bit of potential defamation exposure that I put there.
well, what's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up?
Sounds like y'all are talking about Bounty Hunter Wars.
Yeah, which is a shit book.
I didn't think it was that bad. I mean, there's worse Star Wars novels out there.
Yeah.
Oh, there's always worse Star Wars novels out there. I think
That's
think
the nice thing about Star Wars. There's always more.
Oh, there went Bob.
I wouldn't say. I don't even know what is the worst Star Wars novel in the EU. Like, sometimes I go to like the Legacy of the Force, and sometimes I go to like something else.
I know
It's really hard to think
I've
about
heard
it
bad
sometimes.
things about some of the Clone Wars era novels from.
Oh, those are bad.
Yeah. Like
Crystal Star is a great Star Trek novel.
I still take Crystal
Crystal
Star
Star
over a lot
does.
of other stuff, though.
Yeah, it's not as bad as people say, but it is kind of disjointed, and everyone's kind of an asshole.
It just doesn't fit Star Wars, and
I
that's
like
why I
parts
say
of the
it's not a
kids.
good Star Wars novel. It's a good
I like-
book.
I like the part with the kids, but yeah, I've heard terrible things about Stealth and
Alex,
Siege.
it's not called Stealth and Siege. It's called Siege and Gambit. That's what we're calling it now. That's what everybody calls it now. It's Siege and Gambit. I don't even know who started that trend, but it's Siege and Gambit. Which doesn't even make sense. But yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. The Fate of the Jedi books are pretty fucking bad. Like, those are pretty fucking.
I've
But
heard,
even those, like,
but I
they
mean,
have their
Austin was
moments.
involved with some of that, so he doesn't do terrible things overall.
Yeah, it has its moments. I mean, I agree. It's not the height of Star Wars. It's kind of hard to follow up NJO.
I could still hear you, boss.
No, that's Legacy of the Force you're thinking about.
No, I'm saying like everything after NJO
Oh.
is kind of like not
Weird.
necessarily the best Star Wars. I will admit I have a soft spot for Legacy of the Force because it was the first series that I was able to go and get it in the store as it was coming out.
Yeah.
That's fair and not be spoiled. Yeah, that makes sense.
But I readily admit it has some serious problems.
yeah,
as
the
a
only
narrative.
I mean,
the only legacy and the only legacy stuff I read, era stuff I read was Mercy Kill and Millennium Falcon.
I mean, I'll just say
That's
this: by the end of the last book, when Dala becomes chief of state, I'm like, this is fucking stupid. Like, this is
Yes.
dumb as shit. Like, this,
I didn't understand that ending whatsoever.
I mean, Troy Denning just said, "Fuck it."
Pretty
Fuck
much. He was so done dealing with fucking Karen Travis at that point that he was just like, let's just cut it off. Just get it done.
Yeah, and then he left. Like, I'm not gonna lie. There's a big perception that the EU during this era was like on its death's door, like in my opinion, and like shit like that really contributed to that.
Yeah.
That vibe. Like, I'm not.
It definitely didn't help. That's for
If
sure.
people are gonna like appoint a fucking space dictator, it's not gonna be a complete fucking incompetent one.
Well, here,
who's
no,
never done anything right in her
here's
entire
the thing.
life.
Like, if you were to do that, you have to write it in a certain way for it to make sense. Like, as soon as you do that, the next book should start out with galaxy-wide rebellion because a fucking war criminal is installed undemocratically as the
and not
head of
even
the
a
galaxy.
competent one.
I'm with
like-
the Reverend Chris. It's definitely not Legacy of the Force is not as bad as people say. The issues with that story all come like that's where you really start to see the executive process interfering on the creative process
Yes,
when
there
it
are.
comes to Star Wars stories because there was serious issues between they had 3 writers for that series and like they were taking the planned out approach that they took for NJO, but none of those writers could get along. Each
don't
of them
think they
wanted to
actually-
do something different.
I don't think they actually fought that much, but as
It
far
was
as writers,
Karen that was the big and like look, I really respect her as a writer and I love Republic Commando, but she really
I know.
wanted to do her own thing and she didn't give a damn what the other 2 thought or said about the overall narrative and you can tell when you're reading Legacy of the Force like it's like you're following
she
along
wants to
this
focus on her
storyline.
police stories and her Mando stories.
I
And
Yeah,
know.
and it's
Everyone
literally
else
like
I know
all of
that-
a sudden
that-
Boba Fett.
That's the biggest problem for sure. But there's also like creepy shit like the fucking skin tight suit or somebody having sex with like an underage like what like why is this in the book? Like why are these in the fucking? I blame that on Troy Denning. Like Troy Denning's a creep.
I mean,
Travis had
that's
some weird sex stuff, too.
probably him. I remember Dark Nest.
I mean,
I'll never
Travis
forget
had
Dark
a
Nest.
17-year-old and a 10-year-old. I I mean,
Yeah,
10/20.
I mean, I would just say if you wanted to make it like really good, just put Alston in charge. Alston's books out of all of them were the best. Like, take fucking Troy Denning out of there and take Karen Travis out of there.
I mean,
Boom.
I think that
Have
was where
Austin
they
Wright
made their
have
mistake.
to
Was
crunch
that
his way through like 10 books in a fucking year? No,
I'd rather that than
he
Troy
would have died.
Denning.
He would have died earlier if they tried to make
Well,
him
get
do all of
somebody
that on
better
his
than
own.
Troy fucking Denning. I'm sorry.
that was where they made their mistake? Was that they were coming off NJO, where they had like a ton of authors and on a huge series.
Yeah, what happened to the EU where only 3 authors wanted to come back? Like, what happened?
I think like it's kind of like
Eventually,
what
they ended
happened
up
with
having
Karen.
to make a trade with Warcraft and borrow Christy Golden by trading over Mike Stackpole.
No, I think he was on
kinda
Star
became-
Trek.
That's
I
not
think
how
he
that
was-
works.
became
They're
like
both
an
free
ego
contractors.
thing.
Huh?
I think that was.
Oh,
I
yeah,
think she was
Raid
on Star
Squadron is
Trek
top
during that
tier.
time. But yeah,
Raid
yeah,
Squadron is.
I would just say like, what happened? We had like 10 different authors, and you could only get back like Troy Denning and Karen Travis.
Well, I think it became an ego thing. Like NJO was so successful, and it had some big names in it. You know, like R.L. Salvatore came on board, and he opened it up. And
We'll chill out on it. We're spreading out, Alex. We're not gonna just harp on it forever.
We're
wait,
not
what are we not supposed to be harping on?
Legacy of the
Denning.
Force. Yeah.
All
I
right.
mean,
Look, I'm a fan of Legacy of the Force.
Can we go
okay?
back? I had some interesting things about Alston. He's very good at just slightly kind of making fun of other authors, but not in a super mean way. I've always talked about the whole "it's like giving a lightsaber to a 2-year-old" scene.
yeah. I mean,
Which
I
was
even when he's making fun of authors, he's still more respectful than Timothy Zahn ever was.
Wait, you don't like Timothy Zahn?
let's can I go off on this?
Well, you cut me off a bunch of times, so
True.
I mean,
You're right.
I
trying. I thought
No,
it looked
keep
like
going.
Alex was. I'm
Keep
sorry.
going.
It looked like Alex was upset in the chat, and I didn't want. And I was trying to. I shouldn't have been playing.
No, I'm not talking about. I'm not going to talk about Denning anymore. Somebody asked me, "Do I like Timothy Zahn?" Yes, I like Timothy Zahn. Do I think he's the best author in the EU? Hell no. I think he's a baby. I think he was a baby. Like, he was a big fucking baby who disrespected Tom Veitch for no fucking reason other than I don't even know why.
I think he was never disrespectful of Veitch's execution, but he did not like the concept, and one can say that.
I'll agree with Tom Veitch on this. He said that all of not Tom Veitch, all of Timothy Zahn's book are really good reads, but they're uncinematic, and I agree.
I'm not entirely sure I agree with that. There definitely would end up slower paced in a movie form.
Okay, yeah,
and that might not fit Star.
I was gonna say they might not work as a movie, but if you did it like an HBO show, it might be all right.
Also, can we just talk about how after like Outbound Flight, he just took a shit in terms of writing? Like, it was bad. Like, he actively like.
I agree with you there.
Like, Scoundrels is one of the worst books I've ever read. It's so fucking bad. It's
trash.
Like
Scoundrels,
even Outbound Flight is like kind of mediocre. I mean, it's good.
I loved Outbound Flight.
It's a fun one-off.
It's been a while since I've read. I'll see if I have it lying around.
I just think that he's got an ego the size of Jupiter, and he's just like, he doesn't work well with other people, and that's why I kind of don't like him. I think
he would even say he doesn't work well with other people. That's why he doesn't like to do. He's like, if I'm writing 3 books, they're my 3 books.
Yeah,
he's good about staying in his own corner. Like, he's honest about it. It's like, I like to stay in my own corner and maybe do the occasional collaboration with some friends.
Which is fair.
Yeah, but I just think
he was honest about how he was.
Yeah,
I do think his talent as a writer is a little bit overblown. Because
I think it is as well. If it would we know Timothy Zahn other than if he didn't put out the Thrawn trilogy?
Now, I don't want to undercut because the Thrawn trilogy is a fantastic story.
It is fantastic, but nobody knows anything else other than that.
I do think it's a good example of how having a good story can triumph over weak writing.
The
I will say that
section of Choices of One is also, I would say, on par with everything else. It's really
I mean, he
good.
made Paleon the character that I love, that I want to see Gary Oldman play one day. One day.
Oh, Gary Oldman, that's a good one. I used to
Dude,
have a
he's
joke.
made
Tom,
for it.
I would used to say Tom Selleck as him. If you go with the more American accent, since he's Carillion.
I
And
just picture Gary Oldman the way he looked as he's Jim Gordon. Just make his
yes,
hair gray.
Yeah,
just
yeah.
great, yeah.
I mean,
Or
I mean, you might get your wish because they're gonna canonize Thrawn and run him into the ground. So
I don't.
Yeah.
Oh God.
but
Why?
what? I'm not lying about it. They're gonna
Oh, yeah,
they're gonna canonize him and bring him up, and he's gonna be in that Ahsoka show or something, and you're gonna think like, damn you,
No,
Disney.
I know you're right. It's just it hurts to know that it's coming and be unable to do anything. It's like being parked on a train track and the train is coming, but you cannot move your car.
Yeah, I mean, also my friend read like, those new canon Thrawn books, and he said like they're are exact rehash just to the new canon. I was like, wow, that's
well, the intro section is just Mist Encounter, but with a Venator and a couple of the shuttles from Rogue One.
yeah.
And no Booster Tarek.
Yeah,
But
Which
Uh,
makes everything
But
worse.
that was supposed to be that. And the weird thing where they switch to present tense when Thrawn is like reading people's heat signatures, that always felt a little weird. But I've been
Using
burned on present tense
They
in
didn't
Star
do that
Wars
in the
because
original Thrawn trilogy, did they?
no, they didn't. That
I
was a
didn't
new
think
twist.
so.
The heat vision bit was a new twist. Uh,
do you
but
guys
that-
agree with Noah that that Thrawn Alliances is the worst book
I've
Zion's
not
ever
read I've not read enough of the. I've only read the first new canon Thrawn book, so I can't say I can't
haven't
comment on
read
alliances.
anything new canon, so
I
cannot
guarantee you.
comment.
I guarantee you it's pretty bad. I mean, he probably just like, you know what? I got my notes from 19. When did those first books come out?
Well,
like
like the
nine.
it's
It was like
it
what
would
was
be
it, like
it would be Hand of
99?
Thrawn it would be Hand of Thrawn duology era.
He's got my notes from Hand of Thrawn duology, and I'm gonna
So
just
98, 99.
slap it on the page.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
because
Mhm.
Alliances, I believe, set mostly in the. Is Alliances the one that's set mostly in the unknown regions, or is that, or is Alliances the one that it's just him and Vader, or him and Anakin and him and Vader like running parallel?
Yeah, I don't know.
I couldn't. Yeah, I couldn't tell you either. I'm sorry. I literally
Well,
once
Quality Opposite
Solo
would
was
have to
bad,
answer, and Noel will
I
have to answer in the
checked out
chat because I don't
completely
know.
from the new stuff. I have not read any of the canon comics or books. I've seen the main movies, much to my chagrin.
Oh God, they forced him to promote the park. That's amazing. That's
They
so
did.
terrible.
Well, oh wow! In this book,
I mean, that
Oh
that
man,
ma-
he is
I
whipped.
feel I don't feel any bad. I don't feel bad for him because he just like absolutely has like no shame in
wow.
his game. As soon as like, that's the reason they brought him back, and they didn't bring like Kevin J. Anderson and everybody else back because
Yeah, you're
they
probably right.
because
Honestly,
because they won't blindly shill for them. Zahn will shill for them. He's
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
Kevin
yeah,
J. Anderson
yeah,
will be like,
yeah,
"Look,
yes,
it's gonna be
he'll-
set where it's set. Like, I'm gonna write you a good ass story, and you're gonna take it or you're not. It's
I
that
mean,
simple."
Timothy Zahn be like, yes, master, yes, please.
I mean, they're all guns for hire. You have to understand that's how contract work.
Oh yeah, but why isn't
I
Kevin J.
don't think
Anderson
that
working
any
there?
of them would be that much sterner than he would about it.
Have we gotten so far from any sense of artistic integrity that they would all really just roll over like that? I hope not. I really
mean,
hope
there's
not.
why aren't they there then? If they're the same as Zahn, why aren't they there?
Yeah, I think that's a good point. I think that if Disney could use them, they would be.
You know that's an interesting point somebody just made. Revan just made that they should stop trying to use novels to plug the theme park and use novels to plug games, and vice versa.
Honestly, they
And then use the
should,
games to plug the theme park.
before
That
they
was just my-
even worried about any of that. Like when I was playing football, there was this thing that my coach used to say, right? He used to say, you got to catch the ball before you can run with it, right?
True.
And the EU became this huge thing that was this intricate multimedia empire. But that only happened after it became initially successful, right? Like Bantam was kind of all over the place, and we love it for that. But
Oh yeah.
Disney hasn't established itself yet. The reason that they haven't done that is because they're basically rehashing old shit. Just it's 10% different and half
Yeah,
as
I mean,
good.
they
It,
fucking gave Andor a goddamn Briar pistol. Fucking
That's
assholes.
what if they would just
Oh, okay.
if they would tell their own completely original new stories in the setting, I
Uh,
think they would see more success.
all right, so they gave him a Briar pistol, but they gave that guy in the trailer a space AK-47. Like, so they could spend a
It's
little
not-
bit of
okay.
they could get the prop department at Lucasfilm could spend a little bit of money on his
Well,
pistol,
By
but
the
guy,
way,
AK
do you
the
know what that
AKs
weapon is
actually were
called?
pretty heavily modified.
Do you know
But
what
the
that
problem
weapon is
is-
called?
The problem
it's
is
really lazy.
the gas tube on an AK is just the part where it sticks out from the top of the barrel and then goes back in.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Into the handle. That
I mean-
section of the AK is just
I
too
mean,
iconic to not cover up. They've
I-
actually been using AK parts already.
I
They've
know,
used a couple AKs
but
in.
what I saw was a stock folder AKM that they did not do anything to.
If you
Can
look,
you
if you look
guys
again,
guess
they
the
completely changed
in-lore
the top
name
cover.
of that AK? Just take a
Huh?
wild guess at what it is.
AKM 1919 or whatever.
It's called the KA-47.
Yeah,
What a
you're
bunch
not.
of like.
you're
that
not-
I
doesn't
mean,
speak
to be
the
fair,
creative
I laughed when they
bankruptcy.
did that with the M60 in Rogue One. Like,
Yeah, but
it's a prettied up M60, and they called it the something 60, and they also had it nicknamed the Roba, which was
Yeah,
actually kind of cute on Pablo's
but-
part.
I mean,
Because
but
a
that-
Roba is just a fucking pig in space. It's from the old EU. I'm just
Yeah.
like, oh, they named it the pig. That's cute because that's what it was called
Yeah,
in
but
Vietnam.
here's the thing.
but that's clever. You know what I mean? Like that has
It's
multiple layers
the
of
robot,
thought to it.
yeah.
That's not just let's switch the letters. You know, like
I
at
mean-
least that has symbolic meaning behind it.
I mean, I'll just say this. I mean, like what you guys say is true. Like I wouldn't be so mad at new canon. I call them after. What do I call them? Reading material. Yeah, that's what I'll call them. They're not connecting to anything. As soon as Dave Filoni finds out that something is in that novel or comic book that he does not like or goes against his plans, it's getting decanonized.
Or getting remade into something. Well, to be fair, the one time that they decided to take a character and completely change it, they did improve. But
Yeah.
then again, they were taking the character from fucking Wendig, so there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah. But here's the thing. If they were just like original stories that like were not just rip-offs of the EU completely and fucking uncreatively, I would not have a problem with it. But that's what my problem is. Like I feel like this is just the EU but worse.
Dude,
And-
and that's what I'm saying is that's why they are flopping so hard is because people watch shit like Kenobi and they're like, I already know this story, you fucked it up. Like, even if they make a steaming pile of shit, if it's an original steaming pile of shit, it at least softens the blow a little bit because you tried. You know, like
I also
of
do
all
like
the things you can
how-
say about High Republic, what you cannot say is that it's a copy of anything from the EU. At least it's an original
It's not
story.
Tales of the Jedi. It's not KOTOR, apparently. It does try to be its own thing. It's really weird that they chose to set it so close when, like, the technology in some ways seems more primitive than anything, even in Tales of the Jedi.
Yeah, it seems pretty weird. Yeah, I agree.
But
But
need
then
to work
again,
on their
actually, the
timelines.
Tarkin novels had already started to make hyperspace a lot more restricted.
Didn't they say
Uh,
they wanted the guy who directed that horrible Thor 4 movie to direct like a High Republic film? I'm like,
Yeah.
that's gonna go great, guys. Thor 4 just did great.
As
Yeah,
far as we know, he is going to direct some, but all projects like that are currently on hold.
Yeah,
Rian
for-
Johnson just said that he talked to Kathleen, and apparently it's only a matter of quote timing.
let me
for
tell
him
you
to make
something.
his
I've
trilogy.
told this before, and I will say it again. This is my theory. I don't believe Kathleen Kennedy is ever going to be fired, but her contract will not be renewed in 2024 because she's a Bob Iger loyalist, and Bob Iger and Bob Chapek, the ex-CEO of Disney, hate each other, and they're feuding over the company. So she's going to get released, and I guarantee you, like, it's either going to be Kevin Feige taking over, or somebody
Yeah.
else?
That's too much copium. It's been said so many times before.
I think
I'll
It's
believe it
honestly,
not
when I see it.
it's not copium because I'm not saying she's gonna get booted out on her ass.
so
Yeah, okay.
whatever.
Copium is like geeks and gamers say.
Saying she'll
Well,
be gone tomorrow. Yeah, okay,
co-
that's fair enough. That's a distinction.
I don't, but
Uh,
like she's
Revengeance
so high placed in Hollywood elite. Like she's like one
just
of
international.
she was up there with like Harvey Weinstein. You know what I mean? I don't think
well,
she's
the
going
reason she
anywhere. I think that
well,
Chapek, even though he knows that she was an Iger loyalist, knows that right now she's effectively crippled in terms of what she can do with the wider company.
well,
And
okay, but you have to ask like what is she doing in terms of the movie division? Every movie, live action Star Wars movie, has been put on the shelf.
Yes, and I think that's why he will intend to just let her sit there, because as long as she's there at Lucasfilm, she's not doing
someone else
anything
to take,
else.
and it's someone
And
else to take blame for him and to not compete with him.
exactly, and right now she's essentially a toothless tiger.
Well,
Which,
that's a good way to run a business into the ground. Just do let like just
well, here's the thing though, is that Disney is an enormous company. So if they lose Lucasfilm, that's not necessarily the end of the company.
I'm
So
not
that
saying
could
it's
be
gonna
the
end.
ultimate goal.
I
Which
really
is
I,
horrifying. I hope
really
that doesn't happen.
I mean
But
I do. I think Lucasfilm has been trash for like 15 years.
I mean, we see what's happening at DC right now. You know what I mean? Like it's not beyond reason that a well-established company could come up on the chopping block. Like DC right now
I don't
very
think they're gonna
much could not
chop.
exist
Yeah, I
for
don't
much
think they're gonna
longer.
chop it. I think they're just gonna let it kind of ride for a little while.
Are we talking about
They're gonna
Lucasfilm or
focus on their
DC?
park. No,
Oh, my
Lucasfilm.
bad. Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. Like
Someone just jumped in.
what's up, Lance?
Yeah, friend.
Like here's the thing. Like I don't think the reason I don't think like Bob Iger is gonna not Bob Chapek is gonna let like we've gone 10 years without a Star Wars movie. How does that sound to investors? Does that bring you confidence?
Depends on how much money the Disney Plus is making, pretty much.
See, the thing is that damage has already been done to the IP, right? So if you're Chapek, I guarantee you that if Lucasfilm folds, there's a clause in the contract under sale that says that all ownership of IP transfers directly to Disney from the subsidy, which means like
mm,
Why would they need it to fold? They already own it 100%.
well,
Yeah.
because damage. So it was valued when they bought it. They spent about $4 billion, and it was valued to make $22 billion within 10 years, and they have barely made their money back. Like the IP has been objectively damaged.
Well,
So
yeah,
he
because
could want to get it back so that Disney owns it, and then he can shelve it because there is still intrinsic value. Star Wars is something that people will always love, but you put it away for like 10 years and then you bring it back out, and that's when you can start making some money again. As it stands right now, the damage has been done, and so anything you put out is going to be intrinsically hobbled. So if he were to play a long game thing where like within the next 5 to 6 years Lucasfilm folds, then that IP would revert back to Disney. It would essentially go into the vault with all the other IP that they own.
okay, there's one problem with your theory. Bob Chapek isn't that smart.
Yo, what up, Matt Wilkins? Nice to talk to you, man. Big
What's-
fan of your channel.
Hey,
Yeah,
what's up?
Hey, what's up, Lance?
What's up, bro?
Listen, I'll just say Bob Chapek isn't that fucking smart.
I don't know, man. He's pretty smart. He's more business savvy than he is anything else. And I think that is why he might be thinking that way. Because if it was me, and like I'm not saying I'm a Bob Chapek for God, but I have a little bit of business experience. And if it was me, that's what I would be doing to recoup my loss. Like if I was thinking like, how am I going to make Star Wars worth that $22 billion? Ultimately, that might mean that I have to shelve it for the next 5 to 10 years. It's.
I mean, I guess. I mean, they probably just think nobody cares about Star Wars. Just go full on fucking Marvel at this point.
But the issue with that is that they're spending like Disney is an enormous company that can stomach loss, but they are still finite and they do have to still meet shareholder demand. So like these shows are ridiculously expensive. Like it's beyond absurd. Like the budgets that something like She-Hulk is getting, it's unheard of. Like
And
even 10 years ago, if you gave
yeah, I
that
know.
budget to a TV show, you would be producing like masterpieces beyond imagining. And now you give that
have you
budget
seen?
to a TV show
Have
and
you
you get
seen?
She-Hulk.
Have you seen House of the Dragon's budget? It's insane.
Yeah, but thank God that show's actually pretty decent
I
for
mean,
once.
all you got in She-Hulk was bad CGI and twerking. That's all you got. Like
That's what I'm
I
saying.
could. And also, I just want to say, whoever said, yeah, let's have a show about fucking She-Hulk. Nobody ever cared about fucking She-Hulk. I'm sorry, not even the Marvel
I mean,
diehards
I
cared
kinda
about
like
her.
She had a pretty decent comic run, but
this
they-
tries to do the third wall thing, but it comes off more fourth wall thing. Comes off more mean spirited than funny.
yeah, it's not Ferris Bueller. It's more like I'm the writer talking to you.
I mean, I would never watch a She-Hulk show because I never cared about that character. Like,
I guess what I'm saying is like even besides She-Hulk, like the last like 7 shows have been disasters, and they've been disasters that cost them like $200 million each. Like at a certain point, the shareholders are going to be like, "What are you doing with our money?"
here's the point. Here's the point of these shows. It's to drive subscribers up to beat Netflix, and it's like, and to be honest, they could probably do it because Netflix is such a dumpster fire right now. If they just keep putting out,
No, dude, but like that's the thing. Like, have you looked at the share prices? Because I looked at it because I heard that Netflix was in the dumpster. And it was a dumpster fire, and I was like, oh, finally, I can get onto this. Because Netflix is a golden goose. Like, it's one of those shares you buy when it's low, and you're guaranteed to make money back. They are at the lowest point that they've been since they opened, and they're still $300 a share. To put it into perspective, Disney is 126.
Yes.
How many
It's
shares
absurd.
how many public shares do each of them have though?
Netflix has a smaller share of the market, which is why Disney remains competitive. But like Netflix is so strong, even at their weakest, like they're not going anywhere. And like you're seeing all this stuff coming out now about like how HBO was fudging their subscriber numbers, how Amazon Prime might have been fudging their subscriber numbers. Like there's lawsuits actually pending.
Yeah.
I
mean, Amazon Prime isn't primarily streaming though. It's
that's
just
fair.
speedy delivery stuff, and you can watch Top Gear or Grand Tour. That's all it is. It's speedy delivery and Grand Tour. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Nobody watches anything else.
Well, you'll get like one-offs that are like cult classics, like that Reacher show that I hear is pretty good. People seem to like, or like The Boys.
Oh yeah. But The Boys actually hit it pretty big.
Yeah,
It's probably actually more popular than Top Gear right now, or the Grand Tour.
You'll get one-offs, but like that is Amazon's advantage in the streaming war, is that their streaming service is supplemented by the whole rest of their other business.
All right, but my bad, my phone died, so apologies there. What were we talking about? Amazon? Yeah, okay. Yeah, the thing about Amazon is like everybody has Prime Video because everybody has Amazon Prime, so they never really have to worry about subscribers.
I was gonna have one other thing that.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Keep
I had meant to say earlier. The Waltons. Is that about like the founding of Walmart?
I mean, it sounds like a sitcom. I bet you it is, Matt. I mean, that show is terrible. It's. If you want a good fantasy show, go watch House of the Dragon. That's
when you think about the fall of Numenor, it's basically God punishing people for trying to illegally immigrate into heaven. Turned the entire morality around, which is just it goes.
Dude,
they only have one worldview and like no other like.
I just don't understand
of reality.
How nobody around Jeff Bezos, of all people, the man who's literally launching rockets into space, was like, maybe we shouldn't give $1 billion to 2 guys that don't have any credits to their name.
I don't think it was $1 billion exactly, but it was pretty close. I think it was like 700 million or 500 million.
Yeah, but like it's so ridiculous. And
I get you.
Done anything else.
Here's the point. Jeff Bezos, like anything, delegates a lot of power to a lot of people because you can't run a company as large as Amazon by yourself.
So who
And-
has the ability to put something up on the screen?
Jennifer Salke. Are you talking about? That's
In
that's
chat.
that's um
I'm gonna put something in the back scenes, and this is my reaction to the Balrog scene that I've
Yeah.
seen.
Yeah, but there's the lady who runs Amazon Prime Video. She literally passed up a freaking HBO level Conan show because it was apparently too
Or whatever.
too toxic. Like it was like
Too masculine, yeah.
too bad. It's
I'm
like
a huge Conan fan, and so I've been following that show. I know a couple people that are kind of working on it, and that is exactly. She was like, "This is too manly. We can't do this."
Off.
yeah,
I
mean,
know, but ridiculous. And apparently, it was fantastic. By all
Yeah.
accounts, the scripts are legitimately good adaptations of the original Weird Tales stories.
yeah.
As they were released, and they're like each one is a self-contained episode that was about an hour long, and there's like a through line of him traveling the world and like learning about all these different
I
cultures.
mean, there's the
Fucking leaf. I'm so confused.
Oh,
this is my reaction to the Balrog waking up in the Amazon series.
a fucking leaf.
Oh fucking! They could have put anything there.
Yeah,
Still
but
one of my favorite videos of all time.
But you know what Amazon has over everybody else, and Apple has this ability too, because they're super fucking rich as well. Is that they have money that Netflix, Disney, Warner Brothers, Paramount don't have. They have that like if you lived in the fucking Fort Knox money. You know what I mean? So it's like it's just like that. But Amazon has a really hit and miss fucking shit. And what I hate about their entry into the genre shows, it's like they had a good show with The Expanse. Why can't you do something like that for Rings of Power or fucking Wheel of Time? Like why?
It legitimately makes you think that the people that say it's like a money laundering scheme, that like it makes me believe shit like that. Because legitimately, I know Jeff Bezos is a busy man. He like delegates whatever. Dude, I cannot fucking imagine. I cannot imagine just casually throwing $1 billion and then not paying attention to what happens with it. I cannot imagine that. I can't even imagine throwing $200 million
I mean,
at
we've got
something
somebody
and then
throwing
not
4
paying
billion
attention to what happens with it. And like they legitimately hired people that had no credentials to use that money. Like I don't like it's hard to think up. Either they are literally the dumbest fucking people alive on the planet Earth, which is frightening that they somehow managed to get that much wealth and power, or there's another motive. And like, what other motive is there except trying to wash your money?
I mean,
to demoralize people. Maybe he just wanted to hurt people. Who knows?
I mean, I got to ask you guys a question.
Unbelievable. Right? If you can just spend $1 billion to make fun of people.
I mean,
Unbelievable.
Demoralization is a little more complicated than just making fun of people, but yes.
It's nuts, dude.
Here's just the thing, like, I mean, like there's very few streamers that are any good at genre fare anymore. Like at this point, like Paramount is fucking trash to Star Trek. They can't do sci-fi worth a damn. Amazon can't do fantasy worth a damn. Netflix cancels every good show they have. I mean,
which is wild, right? Like you think that once you have a winner, I mean, they kept Stranger Things going at least.
Yeah, but that's Stranger Things. Like there was a show called Mindhunter that was so fucking good. And everybody loved it.
Dude.
And they canceled it for no fucking reason.
They do that to all their good shows. They've had a bunch that were like that, where it's like 1 or 2 seasons. Like fucking Lilyhammer. I think that one actually did end up getting a couple.
Lilyhammer was canceled because they broke Norwegian product placement laws.
What? Seriously?
Norway literally kicked them out of the country because product placement is not legal there, and they were doing American style product placement.
Oh my god!
That's so fucking dumb. Like some of these
Show about
countries,
a mobster
my
gets shut down because they
God.
were doing illegal, shifty advertisement is
That-
kind
That
of
was a good
amusing
show too.
to me.
Wow.
so,
I like
some
them.
some country has the dumbest shit like in history.
Oh no, I mean advertisement should be marked as advertisement. I can understand that, I guess, but yeah, they were
But
taking money to do
to shut down a show over, like, couldn't you just give them a fine?
I guess they. Well, I mean, if you just give people a fine, they never actually stop doing things.
That's
You
a
know,
very fair
I mean, they
point.
just pay the fine and keep going. I mean, it's like giving fucking traffic tickets or parking tickets to a billionaire. They don't give a fuck.
I mean, it's still fucking stupid. You're not going to convince me otherwise. Um,
Shit like that happens. Shit like that happens a lot. There's a lot of good shows on Netflix that are only like 1 or 2 seasons. That Korean zombie show, The Kingdom. That show was only 2 seasons. That shit, nobody's ever seen that. It's so good. Go
Are they
watch
still
it.
making?
But yeah,
Oh,
I
go ahead.
still love that's why Lilyhammer ended, because I'd actually kind of liked a bit of it. I kind of rolled my eyes at other parts of it,
Mhm.
but it was kind of funny.
It was. It was like The Sopranos in a little bit.
Yeah, but like it was like a parody of The Sopranos.
Yeah,
which I
that's what.
Yeah.
liked.
Yeah,
it
that's why
was,
it was entertaining to me.
Yeah.
yeah, it was by the guy from Bruce Springsteen's band in there. I can't remember his name.
Oh,
Little Stevie Van Zandt, something like that.
Yeah, Stevie Van Zandt or whatever his name is. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I just think we had it better in the 2000s, like in TV. Like the TV in the 2000s was just peak. Like now,
Yeah.
I don't know. The writer's strike hit in the 2000s, and
Well,
oh
that
my
was like
god, nothing good
2000.
came out during that.
That was 2008. That was like late 2000s. I'm talking like
When Firefly was airing, that
you had
was
this.
like
You had
peak
the
TV.
Sopranos,
Sopranos, The Wire,
Deadwood.
Deadwood.
Dude, Deadwood,
House.
Rome. Rome
Deadwood
was
and Rome
so
were
good.
fucking fantastic, and
Dexter.
Carnival
Deadwood's
was also
creator
really
getting
good.
Alzheimer's is a goddamn national tragedy.
Oh, what? He got Alzheimer's?
Yeah, he pretty bad at this point. He's pretty much gone by now.
Yeah,
Dude,
I mean,
that sucks.
HBO
That's why the later seasons of The Wire sucked dick too. Apparently,
Oh, that makes a lot of sense, actually.
Robot Alex is here.
The Wire.
You
The Wire
finally
creates
finally
jazz.
decided to show up on your own stream 50 minutes in. I'm proud of you, Alex.
Actually,
But
actually
yes.
almost an hour.
The Wire's fucking Amsterdam arc was apparently after he'd started to lose his mind a little.
I mean, HBO in the 2000s is just peak. Like, I mean, there's nothing that can compete with it. Like, it's just like, man, it was just so good.
I'm not gonna lie. All right, I'm gonna put it out there. I admit beforehand that it is trash TV, completely and utterly devoid of substance. But True Blood was pretty good too.
I thought you were going to say
I've actually
Euphoria.
talked to one of the guys from The Sopranos.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
I
Oh,
got
which one?
drunk with them. The whole cast, except for the main guy. I can never remember his name.
Because he's dead. Yeah, he
James
died pretty early.
Gandolfini.
No,
James
this was
Gan-
like
James
this was,
Gandolfini.
Yeah, Gandolfini. This was like 10 years ago in Atlantic City.
Oh,
I
no,
was
yeah.
at- I was
I
on the
knew,
boardwalk and we were on a boardwalk. There was like a beach or a
Are-
bar on the beach, and we got in there and I saw them, and I walked up and I was like, I just want to say, like, I'm a big fan of your show. You know, I'll leave you guys alone, but just want to let you
Yeah.
know, like, I really appreciate it. And they were like, "What? Are you drinking?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm not technically legal yet." And they're like, "That's not what I'm asking."
Was the kid was fucking Tony Soprano's son there?
The whole cast, dude. Everybody was there. Dude, Big
Holy
Pussy got
shit.
up on stage and
Oh,
was singing
no,
Big Pussy's
fucking,
actually the
bro.
one that I
he
know.
was
I've not actually
singing
watched.
fucking,
I've not actually watched the
God
show.
damn it,
but
what's his name? I'm so bad with names. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but
The
that's
famous singer, Tony. No,
Stevie Van
Frank-
Zandt. Is that who you're talking about?
no. He's.
He
I'm-
did a
Tony
Sinatra.
Bennett.
no, I'm an idiot. But it was
Was the singer there, or was he covering them?
dude. I'm gonna say his name. Frank Sinatra. Thank
Yeah,
God.
Sinatra. I said it like this.
Nice.
He got up on stage and he started singing fucking Sinatra.
Yeah.
It was
Awesome.
great. We got drunk with him, me and my buddies.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Did you
Big
take
Pussy's
any
the one that
photos?
I know. My dad's
Yeah,
gone on
yeah,
golf
yeah.
trips with him before.
Yeah, I got pictures with Big Pussy.
Uh,
Big Pussy. He was the life of the party, man.
Yeah,
I remember when
he's
I
a
heard
cool
he
guy.
died, I was upset. I was like, damn, he was a
What?
nice guy.
What? He's not dead.
I thought he did. My buddy told me
No.
he died. He had like a heart attack or some shit.
No, that was James
Gandolfini
Gandolfini.
died.
Vincent
James
Pastore,
Gandolfini
the
died.
actor, is still
The
alive.
main guy died. Tony Soprano's actor died. Big Pussy's still alive.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Well, good shit. See,
Oh, yeah.
me and my names, man. Like, I'll never forget
Yeah.
your face, but don't ask me to
Yeah.
fucking call you by
you,
name.
you said True Blood, right? Was that the one on the CW earlier?
No,
No,
it
it
was
was
on.
HBO.
I think it was HBO.
Yeah.
Oh,
HBO.
HBO. Fuck. I'm thinking of the Vampire Diaries. Fuck.
Yeah. It was.
And then
It's
there's
where.
also Being
It's
Human.
where. What's his face? The dude that he played some like Viking vampire in the show,
Interesting.
and he got kind of famous. He was in that show, or he was in that movie, The Northman, that came out.
Oh, interesting.
Alex,
One of the
Alex, it's because your
Skarsgårds.
mic doesn't work, so we have to make content for you.
Skarsgård, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Alex Skarsgård. That's
You
how
have
he
no
got his
choice.
start. He
No,
played some Viking ass vampire in that show.
Yep.
his mic works perfectly fine. He just lives in Uganda 95% of the time. No.
I guess that's true.
The Sopranos
Well-
might actually be. I don't think that's that hot of a
I
take.
mean, it's either between
Marcel would
that.
be wrong.
It's up
because
there.
Better Call
It's
Saul
definitely up
exists.
there.
I actually
I
need
mean,
to watch The Sopranos. It's
I
I
funny,
mean-
haven't
Better Call
seen
Saul
Better
is
Call
better.
Saul yet.
Hold on. It's either Breaking Bad, The
No, it's
Wire,
not
or
Breaking
or,
Bad, it's
or The
Better Call Saul.
Sopranos.
Like I used
The
to
fuck are you on?
Rome is pretty fucking good too.
What are you
Rome
on?
is
You
good.
did you? Are you gonna say that Breaking Bad is worse than Better Call Saul?
Yes.
There's no way.
There's no
Yeah.
way.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen Better Call Saul yet, but Breaking Bad
Yeah.
was as close to a perfect show as you can possibly
Yeah,
get.
and I think Better Call Saul surpasses it.
All right. Well, now
Really?
I have to move
Interesting.
that up the list.
Yeah.
Who is Saul?
Let me say,
the
Saul
lawyer.
Goodman is the lawyer in the Breaking Bad show,
Yeah.
and
But he got his own show.
And you get
which is a prequel and sequel show.
Yeah.
See,
Wait,
that
and
was-
sequel? Like after?
it's got
So
a few
every season begins with a flash forward to after Breaking Bad, and the last half of the final season is just a complete season after Breaking Bad.
Yeah. I mean,
But I will say it does not
Oh.
require Breaking Bad to enjoy. You'll
I mean,
appreciate it more Breaking Bad, but you don't. Need it.
as Jesse
Yeah, I love
Pinkman
that show.
as Jesse Pinkman once stated in Breaking Bad, Alex, you can't keep getting away with this.
I'm
He
I'm
can't
right.
keep
Get
getting
away with
it.
this.
Dude, I remember when the episode when the plane crash happens.
yeah. Wait.
Me
can
and
I-
my
can I-
buddy
can
were
I-
watching that shit on my couch. We were high as shit on LSD,
What
and
the
those
fuck?
body
Oh,
parts started
oh my-
raining. We were like, "What is happening? I don't even know what's going on. This is the craziest show ever."
I mean, Lord have
Here,
mercy.
let-
I wouldn't even.
Let me tell you this. Let me just put some things into perspective. Okay. Breaking Bad is one of the best shows on television. It remains that years after it has come out. But think about this. When you were a child, were you as intelligent or as knowledgeable as you are now? So think about this.
Yes.
No, lie.
Shut
Shut
up. Shut up, Lance.
All right. Now think about this. You make Breaking Bad. It's one of the best shows of all time. You have now made the successful TV show. You have now grown. You are now smarter since having made that show. You know how to make show good. So you improve upon it in your next show. What's your next show? Better Call Saul, where the acting is more subtle, the writing is more solid, and it is just overall, and the
I mean-
cinematography. My God, the cinematography.
I mean,
of that
I
show.
get your
That's
point.
what the Revanchist is saying too. He's
I-
saying
I-
that he
I
got
get-
more nuance in his
I get
storytelling.
I get your point, but the whole it's after makes it better. Like that's not the case. I mean,
That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying is that they've learned from what they've done before, and have.
I mean,
not
yeah.
everyone who
When
does a
a-
follow up learns, but he's saying that in this case they did.
Oh yeah.
Not
I'm-
that everyone will always learn.
I mean, yeah. Otherwise, Batman and Robin would be a better movie.
Yeah, but that was also
Yeah,
Yeah, I
directed by
love
somebody
all
else.
those movies. Okay, I watch them till their VHS is broke.
Did you say you watched Batman and Robin till the VHS broke?
Yeah, dude, that Batman Forever, all that, like literally, I had all three of them.
Better call
Those
out.
movies, they're Al, since you love Better Call Saul, I better see you in law school next year. You fucking
Hey, you know,
Uh,
Marcel is a lawyer, so
yeah, but
I'm gonna pay him
Marcel,
money
you're a
because-
lawyer.
Yeah, I'm gonna pay him money to help me defend Legacy of the Force. Because he said
That
he said even
okay.
if I disagree
I
with
think
you,
he may need to
as a
help you
lawyer,
defend Naked Palpatine too.
yeah.
Okay, I'll just say this:
I'll be
the
right
art,
back. I gotta
the
eat
art,
Naked flashing clone Palpatine.
the
Going
art of
around
being.
flashing people.
One of my dad's friends is a lawyer. He said the art of being a lawyer is saying something with no meaning and making it sound smart. That's the art of being a
well,
lawyer.
that's if you're a pleading lawyer. There are other law rules that lawyers have, technical writers and all of that.
Have you
Yeah.
ever met a family law attorney?
Hell no. I ain't got no
They're-
kids.
They are extremely.
So
shifty.
wait, by that definition, Czar, are you saying that new canon fans are lawyers?
Yes.
They
They wish
wrap
they were.
they wrap themselves in mental gymnastics like lawyers do.
Even
I was
I
gonna
can't
say,
hate new
speaking of
canon
the new
fans as
canon,
much as I hate lawyers.
somebody really fucking loves the shuttle, the DX9 Stormtrooper transport from TIE Fighter. I think it was also an X-wing, but
Yeah.
I remember it from TIE Fighter because they never played X-wing.
Yeah. What was it? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Marcel's medical status does not matter. He's fucking. He's just not well enough. Okay.
That's the secret. I've never been useful.
Except for hosting these streams to give him content.
Yeah, we're doing. Hey, I expect all the revenue split 5 ways among us.
Well, the issue among us.
Boom, 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 boom. I
about
get
the
it.
issue.
Ha 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 ha.
Down to my last beer, boys. It's a tragedy.
I went to a Halloween thing yesterday. It was a weird spirit thing.
Oh, yeah?
It was this like dress up thing with like a maze and like the scavenger hunt. It wasn't that good. I spent $75 on it. Kind of disappointed, but there was alcohol there.
75. Wow.
Yeah,
That's a
I went
lot.
with my friends, and
Alex, you drink alcohol?
I'm 21.
But you don't curse.
Right.
I don't want to see a drunk Alex.
Hey, Jesus
Yeah.
drank alcohol, okay?
Yeah,
You made it.
I do not cuss except for when I do, but I try not to cuss. I have
Yeah, you're
done
pretty
it
good
before.
at that.
Also,
Unless Bounty Hunter Wars comes up, in which case,
yeah,
you know,
I
that
didn't-
rule goes out the window.
That
book
shit's
is out the
fucking
window.
garbage.
I reserve the right to act as crazy as I feel entitled to at the stupidity of Disney, Star Wars, and their writers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll just say that. Okay, since we were talking about
I can't talk
AMC
about it because I don't read it or watch it, so I don't have an opinion.
well, anyway,
Dude,
since we were
right? Doesn't that make it easy? It makes it so easy. All I can say is that I like Rogue One.
yeah,
like
yeah,
that.
I don't
Rogue One
even.
is good.
That's why I don't understand why people hate watch shit. They know they're not going. Like, why are you giving people you supposedly hate money? Like, why are you doing that?
Dude, I saw
think
The
the
Last
last
Jedi
thing that
and
I
I knew
watched
I was
was-
done
the
with
last thing
anything
that I-
else Disney put out. I was
The
like,
last thing that
I'm done now.
The last thing that I watched in the theater was Solo, and I'd actually paid for a ticket to Deadpool, which Disney hadn't bought yet, so I was technically driving up the price.
I mean, the last movie I saw was
Really,
the
it was a
Batman,
double fuck you.
So I feel pretty good about my last cinema experience.
The last thing I saw in theaters was the Batman, and I loved it. It was great.
I was very impressed.
Yeah, me too.
I'm
It was
vengeance.
a good one to go back to. They
It
opened
would've
it
been
so
better, though.
strong.
I feel so proud to say that I've never seen any of the sequel trilogy in the theaters or even on the home video.
Yeah.
As soon as I heard the opening crawl, Luke Skywalker has disappeared, I said, okay, bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit. They got
He
it
did.
wrong right off
if
the bat.
we're being fair, he did start to do that in the Black Fleet Crisis, and I
Yeah,
was
just for,
consistent
like,
when I reviewed that
3
book. because I
days.
said
Like,
And that
all
was
week.
also like
He spent
right
a
at the
week
beginning of his
meditating.
career.
I
It
Yeah.
was not
No,
like
Black
I know,
Fleet Crisis
I'm just playing
was a
devil's
good ways
advocate
in.
that, you
Black
know.
Fleet Crisis was a good
Why
ways
are you playing devil's advocate? You know you don't.
Black Fleet Crisis was like what? It was like year 7, right? It was right before Dark Empire. Unless
No, it was
I'm-
well after
No,
Dark
it was
Empire.
well after.
It was
It
after
was
it.
after Dark
Way
Empire. It was
after.
after the Jedi Academy trilogy. After
Guys,
But it was before NJO though. He
yeah, it
wasn't
was
like
before
Yeah.
NJO,
he
but it
wasn't
was
Grandmaster
fairly
Luke
But
yet.
NJO's
it
20
was
years after.
fairly late in. He was the master of the academy and like he put Streen in charge because every time he fucking leaves, he puts the crazy old prospector man in charge.
But he wasn't.
Well,
He's
there's
not
gold
Grandmaster
in
Luke
them
until
there
much later
hills.
on. That's what I was saying. Is like he's not.
Yoda.
He's not 30. Like the Last Jedi is like 30 years later.
30 years
Like it.
Yeah,
Like it's
yeah,
not
okay,
like
that's fair.
it's not like he's still learning or like struggling with stuff. Like at that point, he should be Yoda, and Yoda doesn't just fuck off. Like yeah, he went to a swamp, but Yoda went to that swamp literally
That's
to
also
wait
because
so
the
that he
entire
could
galaxy
do
would have
his
killed
job.
him otherwise. So.
Yeah, and to wait for
Exactly.
Luke.
Yeah,
It
you
wasn't
know?
even.
Luke,
I mean,
He didn't leave out of like fear or any kind of shame. He left with the specific mission of staying alive long enough to train Luke and Leia.
Exactly.
I mean-
exactly.
I
So
mean,
he
I don't-
wasn't running away. He was doing his job.
I don't
Yeah.
know why you guys are trying to make sense of the sequel trilogy. It's not going to happen.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I think
Um,
we're just like in a trauma kind of thing. Hi, I'm the Sentinel, and
let's
I'm a
talk about the
victim of
expanded
Disney
universe.
Star Wars.
That'll
Yeah,
fix
let's talk-
everything.
yeah, I mean,
back to the expanded universe.
yeah.
Supernatural
speaking
of
encounters.
work
Let's talk
sucking.
about that.
So speaking
yeah,
of supernatural
encounters, that's a
encounters,
good point.
Disney and Legends, I was doing research for a video that's going to be coming out soon
Yeah.
today, and I discovered that there is actually a long planted seed for multiverses that has existed in Legends way before Clone
Yeah.
Wars or anything else.
Yeah.
Unknown
make-
Region source book for
just-
Star Wars Saga,
Okay.
the Sorcerers of Rand. They have an ability called Dark Sight that allows them to view branching alternate timelines.
I mean, here's the thing about it. Like, it never made sense to me, like why Disney just doesn't
What?
like want to like make more money and just say, here, this is not canon, but it's in a different multiverse.
They did
That's
that.
what
They
I'm
did that
saying.
already. They did
They
that
can
with
do
Star
it
Wars
so
Vision,
Marvel
easily.
108.
but they don't want
Yes.
to do that for Legends. And I don't
Yeah,
know why.
Which is
want them
ridiculous
to
because
touch
it's
Legends.
I mean-
literally a gold mine.
I mean, here's the
opposite.
thing. I don't know. It's
I
fucking
don't mind it
stupid.
being non-canon. I just want more of it.
I don't care
Exactly.
either.
Just
I don't.
let it continue as its own self-contained thing.
Yeah,
That's all anybody wants.
I'll just say this. Like, okay, so since we're talking about space, not space years, supernatural encounters. So we have supernatural encounters coming out soon, and Lightsider, which is supposed to come out soon, and it's already out. So, what else do you think will be coming out soon, like or in the next couple of years?
Translations of the Hungarian Han Solo books.
I
That's
know
something.
for a fact that Sword of the Jedi is sitting on a shelf somewhere.
I also think that Matt has. This is just my conspiracy theory. I think Matt has a copy of Escape from Dagobah as well.
I don't
No,
know
he
about
doesn't.
that.
I think
don't
I think
so.
only Nelson has one
Wasn't
of
Escape
any.
from
if any.
Dagu retconned by another novel?
I don't think so. It
No.
was just about
The
Shakti.
events in that
Clone Wars.
book, at least the general events,
reference.
have been canonized. Canonized meaning part of the EU. They were mentioned in other
Yeah.
sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Good. All right.
it just
Yeah,
never
but-
came out. So we don't
I
know
mean- I mean,
specifics of the story.
I think there's more that people know they have that they aren't sharing for reasons. That when the time is right, they'll let it out.
Yeah,
I
I will
definitely
say
think there's
I'm
more
a, I'm
out
a
there.
big fan of Christopher Nelson, and he's a little annoyed that people that have access to a certain story are talking about it. So I'm not going to mention the fact that some people's story that everybody knows what I'm referring to. I'm just going to not talk about it. on stream anymore.
I agree, but here's the thing. I'm gonna tell you this, Christopher Nelson. You're awesome, dude. But let me tell you something. This story Alex is referring to, if Supernatural Encounters doesn't come out by the end of this year, that story's getting leaked. Somebody's
Which
gonna leak it.
It's
You know what's
probably
interesting?
how
I
it should
just
be.
donated to that to get a copy.
I don't even know what you guys are talking about, and I don't think I want to know. So like,
You don't
All
have
I
to
want to
have-
say
if
is
it
that
comes out, I'll read it. If it doesn't,
at this
I'm just
point-
gonna fucking sit around.
Star Wars is a lot bigger than any of us, legitimately. And there's a lot of people that depend on it for more than just entertainment. Like, this is the type of stuff, this is how we express ourselves. So, for it to be there and then purposefully held back, like at that point, you're just really working for the mouse. You know what I mean? Like it was the entire expanded universe was kept alive by fans at a time before the prequels. I remember that time.
So
All
do
right,
I.
and that's pretty much where we are again right now. So it has to come out. It
Hey
has
guys, I
to.
hate to say this, but I gotta go. So
Oh,
I
bye,
know
Lance.
I'm
Just gotta
Thank-
relax.
See
I'm
you
sure
later, Lynn.
somebody. I'm sure
Thanks for joining,
whether it
man.
leaks or doesn't, it
Thanks,
doesn't really
Alex.
matter in the end.
Y'all
I
have a
mean,
good
Let's
night.
talk about something
You
else.
too.
Later, man.
Have a good night, man.
It
Long
matters
live
in
the
the
night.
con-
EU.
See you.
Long live the
Long
EU.
live
Long live
the
Amen.
Eve.
Fuck
You
Dave Filoni.
Bandai.
Fuck this
He
one.
said free.
Fuck Dave Filoni. That's when the troubles began, the dark times.
He's also religious. He's not cussing. So if you want the cussing religious guy, you go to Lance's channel.
I mean, isn't he? Yeah. I've
He's
been in a lot
Catholic,
of.
so they have different rules.
Oh, that explains a lot of it. Yeah, every Catholic I've met has a foul mouth. So
Yeah.
Hey, I used to
You're
be
not?
Catholic, so that explains a lot.
yeah. What was I saying? Yeah. I mean, it's just like this. Hopefully, Supernatural Encounters comes out. I want to read it. So
I mean, that's
It's coming
I'm
out.
talking about that.
I
Yeah.
doubt
I'm
it's
talking
gonna
about
come out
it
the end of the
needs to come
year.
out. It needs to come out. These things have to release, or there is
I-
no more
it-
real
it's-
Star Wars for us.
It's coming out 100%. I just doubt it's gonna come out at the end of the year.
I know they're
I just-
working on it.
Well, then
I know the
okay.
editors.
It
He
probably
said it's
won't be
going
till
to, but I
next
don't
year at the
believe it.
earliest.
Well,
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
advise
saying.
people. I would advise Joe to stop setting release dates then, because I'll
Well, he's
just
been
say
doing
it.
that for years, and it never actually ends up being the release date.
I know,
Well,
but
he'll release a new chapter of it. He's released bits and pieces.
I
here and there.
I know, but let me tell you something. Like,
Give us a
if you,
tidbit.
yeah, I agree. But here's the thing: when you do that, I'm not calling him this, but I've heard people call him this. When you do that, people think you're a grifter and you're hustling for money. So you got to put it out sometime, bro.
He's not really making money off it, but
No,
I
yeah.
tend to agree.
He already got the money.
You should take the Rockstar method and just be like, "Look, it's gonna come out when it's ready." Like,
Yeah, because
I promise you, I'm working on it. I'll
It's not
release
gonna take
tidbits
another
when I
year.
can.
That's for sure. It
you're-
will come out.
No,
it just might not
they're
come
for
out in the
sure
next
working
couple
on it.
months.
I'm
It's
pretty sure
gonna
he
come out
sent it
next
to
year,
like
though,
the.
100%.
I'm
pretty
not
sure he
I'm
sent
not
it out
saying
to the
he's
final
not working.
stage.
I believe he is working on it, but there are a lot of people who are skeptical of it.
Yeah.
For sure.
I think it's like done. I think they like sent it to get formatted.
Yeah, I think it
for
needed to be
publishing.
formatted and that stuff. It's also the holiday season coming up, so I just don't know necessarily if it's going to come out like in December.
Also,
It'll probably be early 2023.
Publishing in general right now is way slowed down. Like
I know.
even for a normal market, like it's crazy slow right now.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure he sent it to format though, which means
Yeah,
that the publisher has it.
hopefully we get it. I mean, yeah. Yeah. It's just. Can we talk about this stupid bullshit argument that this is not canon to Legends? Like, I've seen this argument. Like, this
Matt
fallacy.
Wilkins made a video destroying that argument, and I think so did Lance at one point.
I mean,
Yeah.
he has
Hang
the
on.
paperwork.
yeah, it's basically just based on a misunderstanding of the process and how often people would check back in when doing these source books. They didn't really check in all that often. Like all the ones that ended up published, they really only checked in like once at the beginning.
Are you
and
sure about that?
maybe
No,
once in the
you're
middle.
having a hard time printing getting it to print. Yeah. So since we're talking about stuff coming out, nice bong rip, bro.
Oh my bad, but yeah, Choo Chen.
Yeah. What was it saying? Yeah. What do you guys think of the EU continuing in forms of like fans making like fan fiction? Do you think that's
Dude, I'm
45.
all about that. I
Yeah.
think that is, again, I think that's necessary. I think Star Wars is at the point where it's evolved far beyond any one contributor, and it's not necessarily something that a person can own just because they own the right to make money off of it.
Tabletop.
Yeah.
You know, it's like saying that you own
Find
Hercules.
some guys, do a tabletop game.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Yeah.
I mean-
I do think that the only thing that makes the difference between canon and fan fiction is fan acceptance. If somebody writes a great fan fiction work like Hand of Thrones, Sword of the
Like
Jedi,
Dante.
there's
Yes.
a whole bunch of them, then
Yeah.
there's no reason, and it gets widely accepted by the community as an actually good Star Wars story. I see no reason why it can't be accepted as canon.
That's
Well-
actually how folklore works. I've studied
Well,
folklore
he-
and
he-
mythology, and
he-
people are the ones who accept
Exactly.
what is accepted.
Okay,
Yeah.
so here's the thing. The whole it's not canon or it's canon debate doesn't matter in Legends anymore because it's everything is non-canon
Yeah.
according to this. So it doesn't fucking matter anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why all that really matters. Look, like you can own the Holocron just by the source books. All of the essential guides, the Jedi Path, Book of Sith, the Atlas,
RPG
like all of
books.
them. Just get them. You can own the Holocron, and then just write a story that fits in the timeline. It's that
Yeah.
simple. There's so much space. There's no reason why we can't have an infinite amount of stories.
You can have a whole bunch of actual novels during Tales of the Jedi, because as great as Tales of the Jedi is, they're only comics. And you can flesh out them as
Exactly,
more
and
novels.
you
I mean-
only
Flesh out
see a very
Dawn of the
narrow
Jedi.
perspective.
What I hope to see one day is Tales of the Jedi novels and actual Legacy era novels. That's what I want.
That would
You
be
know,
awesome.
I know a
don't
buddy.
want to-
I got a buddy who's working on Tales of the Jedi novels. Actually,
Yeah.
I don't
Al-
want the stuff that people dislike erased, though. I'd rather have it that people.
I didn't say
deal with
Legacy of
it.
the
Yeah,
Force. I said
I know.
Legacy.
I know. I'm just saying. I think because what the actual EU did was, even if something was bad or whatever, they ran with it and just kept going. Kind of
Yep,
like how the
they
new
rode around it.
Chucky TV. Seed of Chucky is a garbage movie. It's hilarious, but it's a garbage movie. And yet, in the new Chucky TV show in Sci-Fi, they still mention like, oh yeah, I have transgender kid because
Except it's not. It's someone who was literally fucking possessed, which is very fucking different.
Yeah.
right.
But-
But I'm
but-
just saying, like they're something that was considered horrible, as this did happen. We're just moving past
Yeah.
it. and I
Well,
prefer
yeah.
that.
Well, you can if you want to, but if you really don't want to, and you want to make a story that takes
Spins
into
off.
account stuff that people don't like, you can write it yourself.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
know?
you can take into account what somebody dislikes without actually like really addressing it and kind of doing your own thing. You're like, oh yeah, that happened anyway. So that way, like, at
Yeah.
least people that did like
Yeah.
it can.
they
can
do that a
feel
lot
validated.
in the EU as it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that happens
So
a whole lot.
but
Yeah.
all I want is like some Legacy era novel ish fan fiction. That'd be great.
You mean like
That's-
during the comics legacy, or
In that era, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
The Legacy era.
Okay.
I'm in the
Well, I mean, Hand of
process
Thrones
of
45 is doing that.
releasing my
already has
own
one.
novel right now,
he is?
but it's Old Republic.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah.
interesting. Oh,
Hand of
stuff.
Thrawn 45 did a trilogy taking place after the legacy comics for Anya Cade and
Did
everything.
they ever
and kind of
reveal who
completed
Mara
it.
Jade's biological parents were?
No, I think the
No.
basic explanation was it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sweet, because I've got a little fan fiction I'd like to write about her
Alright.
origin.
All right.
Do it, man.
What's
and
your
then put
idea?
it out there. Like, seriously, someone's
You're
got to
gonna
do
fucking hate it. I tell you.
it.
Alex.
Another good, yeah.
is a rumor. I can't remember which author people were.
What if
were saying,
what if somebody's 50-50 on two stories? So what do you get? That is a good question. I didn't mean to cut you off, but he
I
says
mean-
that
Legacy of the Force.
if the fan base, if there's like a piece of fan fiction and like half of the fan base accepts it as canon and then half of the fan base does not.
yeah.
well, you're not going to
Headcanon.
change. You're not going to change. It's headcanon. So,
It's
yeah,
headcanon.
so-
I would
Everything
say
going
that
forward is headcanon.
I would say that if it's in a situation where it's split like that, then it's not accepted as canon.
yeah.
It needs to be like the majority of the fan base is like, yeah, this is fantastic. You should check this out.
I
If-
mean,
It's
How are we going
it's
to measure
blue.
that, though? How are we going to measure?
yeah. How could you measure that? I just say whatever you like and whatever you think is good.
Whatever the
And-
GM decides if you're playing a tabletop game.
I
Yeah,
feel like-
whatever.
I feel like there is definitely a point where even if you can't say it's canon, like it's hard to be in Star Wars circles and not hear about certain things like supernatural encounters or like
Re-
Hand of Thrones, Sword of the
Or,
Jedi.
what was I gonna say? I
Actually,
would
I
use an
haven't heard
analogy to
of
like
supernatural encounters until
2009 to
tonight.
Wait,
2010.
I guess
Ghostfish.
I'm not.
Ghostfish. Sentinels.
Let me look it up.
I just want to let Sentinel finish before you
Sorry.
go on.
I
Okay.
feel like a noob because I haven't heard about supernatural encounters until tonight. I didn't even know that was a thing being worked
Oh,
on.
you didn't know? Yes.
No.
Supernatural Encounters is something that was in development before Disney bought the rights. But because Disney bought the rights, things kind of got. I'm
So-
simplifying a lot of things, but it kind
Yeah.
of got zilched. But like he still had the right. Like it was commissioned. It was going to be released on StarWars.com, but then things happened. So, but he has the paperwork. He can still release it, and he's checked with Lucasfilm. He's allowed to release it on his website, which is StarWarsTimeline.net. And so he's been working on it for years. It's basically the Silmarillion of Star Wars because he's taking all the really, really weird parts of the EU, like those Devil World comics with those weird god things.
I mean, isn't there an ET novel included in there as well?
Yes.
Maybe
Well, that was included in the reading list of something you might want to read before
Oh, yeah.
Natural Encounters comes out.
Yeah. So they're gonna have to do with the ET aliens for sure. In there.
They're not
Well,
like
there are ET
actually
aliens
gonna
in
do it, but they're saying like just as a
There might be a little reference in there.
yeah, there's gonna be like an Easter egg about it, but probably not like
Yeah,
a big
huge
deal.
portion
Oh,
of the
yeah,
Exactly
I mean-
like the Easter egg in
Exactly. Exactly.
the
It should be
prequels.
equivalent.
Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially anybody that makes fun of the EU saying, "Oh, this weirder, niche part of the EU, this doesn't make sense or whatever," it's the book is going to explain it. It's going to
Yeah.
explain all the weird supernatural aspects of the old EU.
Alex, speaking of Hand of Thrawn, people are accusing him of being an ex-Star Wars author. Do you know if that's
I
true or
know
not?
we know
I have
for
no
sure that it
idea.
is.
Yeah.
Chris Nelson knows who he is, and he said absolutely 100% he has not written anything official for Lucasfilm or Lucas Books or any of the license holders.
Okay, I'll take Chris Nelson's word for it then.
And yet, he's made an indelible mark.
Or at least not the
Everybody
novel.
seems to know
Like
who
he
he
might have
is.
worked for one of the RPG books. I don't think
Chris
Nelson ruled that out, but
Hand of Thrawn 45 is Chris Nelson. Chris,
he said it's not him, and that he knows who
Well,
it is.
That's
that-
but they-
exactly what he would say.
that's exactly what he would say.
Master of disguise, Chris Nelson.
Oh my God.
I was gonna say when you were
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
talking about like things that everyone in the fan base knows pretty much, I would say like post Dawn of War, 40K, like at the time when Games Workshop was like the most they'd interact with the fans is to send a cease and desist. Fan fiction fucking predominated, and some of it was stuff that was never a whole intended to be totally taken as canon, but everyone kind of just treated it all as a joke anyway. So they had a very similar situation like that, Love Can Bloom and all of that fan fiction, to the point where you would have Vindicare assassins and Eldar Farseers placed in close proximity as a reference to that story by official license holders. Because that fan fiction was just so fucking famous.
You want to know something similar? Okay, so Star Trek had this as well. It's kind of similar. Okay, so how they would work back in the day was you would send in your fan fiction for a chance to be put in like one of the back of the books for one of these Star Trek novels. This was like in the 70s or the 80s, I think. And a lot of it actually made it in. It was really good. Like some of those numbered Star Trek books based on the shows are really bad, and the fan fiction is better than the shit.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like that shit, dude. Like that's why I support fan fiction. That's why I really do. And I think that people that really are into writing and are into Star Wars should try to write like a short story or something sometime.
I wonder.
Even outlines. Oh, go
That
ahead.
reminds me of a conspiracy theory that the reason TV's started to suck is because it's become so much harder to plagiarize fans. I'm wondering if maybe some Star Trek episodes were just plagiarized fan fiction.
I guarantee it was. I mean, they plagiarize official books now in new Star Trek. So,
I mean,
that's
you
called
see them ripping
adaptation.
off fan artwork all the time now.
Yeah, the guy,
Wars,
the
yeah.
STD, the guy that they.
Yeah, it's an official adaptation, but it's still fucking shitty that you copy somebody's work and you didn't pay them for it.
Yeah, like outright.
They're not actually giving them.
No, you can look.
Okay.
No, hell no. Strange New Worlds has a bunch of plots from Star Trek books in them, and they haven't
And the
paid those.
authors are getting fuck all.
They're getting not a dime.
Well,
That's
that's
ridiculous.
probably officially part of the contract. If this does get adapted into a TV show, you get nothing. If they signed it, they signed it. Sleazy, but
That's why you gotta
I-
read.
I would actually doubt that. I don't know. I don't know the contracts, but these contracts are probably written fucking. They probably said we will never adapt. Well, here's the thing. They said none of these books are canon. These books will never get adapted because they are never canon. So they probably just fuck it.
And then they were like, "Guess what? Canon."
we're an adaptation that's different but canon.
Never
That's
say
what I'm
never.
saying. Ultimately,
just-
No, they would have
in
covered
the
their
fans'
bases.
hands.
I just want to say fuck Paramount, and they run Star Trek worse than Star Wars is run. They make Star
well-
Wars look like fucking 1983.
Well, sorry, I haven't read it, but at least we have all those novels that take place after Nemesis.
Yeah,
That
the
actually ends. Unlike
the-
the Star Wars expanded universe, it has
yeah,
an
it
ending.
ends in a pretty shitty way, but it does end. So
Oh,
it
I
li-
heard that Christopher Nelson said that the Coda trilogy was good.
it's I heard from my friend who read it, he didn't like it. So it
Oh.
might
Well,
be.
I take Christopher Nelson pretty highly, so I'll have to see for myself. But
Well, I take my friend's opinion pretty highly, but so
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair.
I know that interesting fun fact. Apparently, there is it's in both the cutscene for for Star Trek Fleet Command, and I believe in one of the Captain Kirk comes back after getting unceremoniously killed off
Oh,
novels
no,
that
oh,
were
hold
written
on.
by Shatner.
Okay, hold
but
on.
Both
Not-
of them have the same.
Okay, so I want to talk since you brought that up. Not only was it not co-written by Shatner because he is not good enough to write a book. Read Tech Wars, and
Yeah, I know.
that's a ghost-written.
It's ghostwritten, but with his name on it. I know.
Yeah.
He pitches a couple. Wouldn't it be cool ifs, and then
Yeah.
they kind of roll.
Yeah,
with it.
the Shatner verse, as Star Trek's like to call it, is actually pretty good. But
Yeah, like it apparently has the same scene as in or a similar scene because the Star Trek Fleet Command opening cutscene has the
okay,
the
so
Defiant class dropping mines inside the empty space in a fucking
yeah,
Romulan warbird. But a similar scene happens in the
right.
Shadowverse where they just fly. Hey, wait, this ship is kind of small, and that ship has a giant fucking hole in it.
yeah.
Wouldn't it be fucking sick?
Yeah. I'll just say this. Like, I don't know if you guys are Star Trek fans, but if you're fans of the
Yes.
EU, if you're fans of the EU, try to read the Litverse. It's like the Star Trek version of the EU, and it's fucking fantastic.
Well, Star Trek is weird though because it also has like 1,000 books just like in between episodes of the shows.
There's
And
not
that's the whole
1,000.
thing?
There's 1,000 books in the Star Trek literary shit, but not in the Litverse. I don't think there's 1,000 books in the
No.
Litverse.
Sure. I
There's
just say I
what?
know
There's
there's
the
a lot.
Litverse, there's the Shatnerverse, then there's a
I'm
bunch
just
of
not-
other stuff.
A lot of their
No.
books are not strictly canon.
Of
On the
course,
subject of-
No Star Trek novels has ever been canon.
No, it's not like
Yeah.
the EU where it's been
Yeah,
by
pre-beta
Lucasfilm.
or-
Yeah,
It's
that's
more
one of
just
the
like
things that
let's
Matt
have fun with
pointed
Star
out.
Trek, which is
One of the
cool.
things that-
Like, don't
yeah,
get me
well,
wrong.
Yeah, that's one of the things that Matt pointed out. It's like the Star Trek novels are completely, sometimes inconsistent, and there's not. They don't keep track of the continuity. That's
Yeah,
pretty
well,
much
there
it.
is. So after Nemesis,
Yeah.
there was a lot of books that started to actually try to fit
Yeah.
with one another, but that was only with after the Nemesis
Yeah,
timeline.
this-
Before that, it didn't really fit.
Yeah,
Or
yeah,
some did, some didn't.
yeah. That
Oh,
era,
young Tom
that
Hardy.
that's the only thing I would recommend to EU fans is that Star Trek Litverse, the post Nemesis novels. Yeah, that's the thing. We don't care about canon. We care about continuity. That's all that matters. Canonicity doesn't matter.
That's what I'm saying. Like that's why all that really matters. Like, look, if you've got the source books, you can write a story that fits just fine. Like, you can look at the timeline, you can see the areas that are blank, and then
The
you
best
can.
Sorry.
No, you're all good, man. What's
Sorry,
up?
it was my ADHD mind. I was just thinking that you were talking about like how fans kind of, make a consensus, and then Sentinel talked about like mythos and what happens with that over time. And because it's spooky season, I was thinking about kind of cringe now, but Slender at one point in time was not super
boy.
cringe. because it started with just 2 pictures, like for a forum, and the internet kind of got a collective like idea of what it was, even though the original thing that came from it was just 2 pictures with no story, no context, nothing really. Some tall guy in a suit and maybe kidnaps kids. That's all you really got. And then you got all these things over years on the internet with like Marble Hornets and a bunch
Marble
of other
Hornets
Al-
was great, dude.
Yeah.
Alex, I just want to ask you a question. Why
Yeah.
are you not reviewing Galaxy of Fear for Halloween?
Oh, well, because I already reviewed
Because
it.
he already did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I have
he's
it up on the
past it.
channel. Yeah,
Oh.
because it's in after episode 4, but before
Oh
episode
yeah,
5.
I
so,
forgot about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it would
must
have been
not have
perfect.
seen that
but-
video.
Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah, I just read too fast.
Matt Wilkins almost lined it up. I think some of it was this October, so that's
The end of it was in October. Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
always wanted to run a Halloween tabletop session involving the Mingle Mingle.
Managol, which is interestingly enough, I believe also a name based on a Filipino.
Yeah, but the Manananggal.
They're totally different. Like they're
But
completely
still
different creatures. They just have a
pretty
similar
disturbing. The real life one's still pretty disturbing.
woman that's like upper half and lower half, and they attack pregnant women or something like that. But
Yeah, she like flies around draping her intestines.
yeah,
Yeah.
arguably more fucked up than the Star Wars one, which is
To
just
kill it, you
a
gotta
goo
find the
monster.
legs and then destroy the legs so that they can't land back on their legs before dawn, and then the sun burns them up. Besides that, you can't kill it.
Yeah. So what? Do you guys know any other like franchises that had anything similar to the EU other than Star
Not
Trek?
really.
Like I think
World
I
of
think
Darkness.
World of Darkness.
It's a tabletop setting, but
I know what it is. I absolutely. I played too many hours of Vampire the Masquerade to not know what it is.
Hell yeah!
Ace Combat. The Ace Combat video games have their own lore, and it's
But do they have books?
no, they don't. Just video games.
Well, Ace Combat basically has one book. It happens to be a Star Wars book. It's fucking Starfighters of Adamar because it's basically
Yeah.
the Ace Combat planet is basically just Adamar.
Oh, I forgot. Indiana Jones sort of has an EU, but it's not as flesh.
That's true.
I actually remember when I watched
what is it?
Crystal Skull. I was like, I had read.
I said not Star Wars, not Lucasfilm.
So wait, how do we define an EU? Do we define it as the original definition of like
an interconnected
one continuity of interconnected stories
across different mediums, or is
multiple
one medium
authors and
acceptable?
different?
Yeah. I
To a
mean,
certain
it
degree,
could
different mediums.
it could be different mediums, but I'm more thinking of novels.
I mean, if it's only one medium, then there's a lot. Like Marvel would even be one.
Well, yeah. Well, we're more. Well, yeah. I guess
Marvel's
I
a
would
whole
say-
universe. I would
Marvel
consider.
reboots. Like Marvel has
Marvel
no
does
one
hard
continuity.
reboots.
Also, like, yeah, there's been reboots. So
I
you
feel
can't
like
really count.
DC has only rebooted over the past like 10 years. That's all they've done. Is
They've
just like
rebooted
one
since
after another.
1985. So,
Yeah, but they reboot more and more frequently. It seems.
Yeah, they're doing one right
it'll
now.
come
I
to the
think.
day that
well, it's a marketing tactic. That's all it is.
yes.
Yeah.
I was gonna say though, like, BattleTech, you'd have the stuff that's
Oh, I've
Bionicle?
heard that. Yeah, I've heard that. My
You'd
brother
have
was
the cartoon.
obsessed with Bionicle. He had all that shit.
Oh, Bionicle, yeah, that counts too. That had games and such. I was gonna
Dude,
say
he was obsessed. They had like books. He had like books with
the
Bionicle.
one thing that would make it not work for BattleTech is because their video games are explicitly never canon. Like, some of them might have aspects of them stolen and put into canon, and they're all spin-offs of canon.
Ooh,
But the video
Alien.
games for BattleTech
Oh,
are never canon.
Sorry, my ADD brain this time. Sorry.
Oh, Alien,
That's all
Alien,
good.
yeah.
Alien has an EU. So does Predator. I guess you could
Of course,
combine those two.
Of course, I don't
Predators
like
EU is
it.
fantastic.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, the D&D universe is like, if you count the D&D universe like as like a whole EU, like, yeah, I mean, it's the biggest EU out there, like, for sure. Like there's how many books for how many different campaign settings.
True,
The
true.
funniest animated episode of television I've ever seen in my life was this episode of Paradise PD where they make fun of the D&D Satan scare, where Satan actually invades the world and they have to challenge him to a game of D&D.
Cool.
Yeah, I was
Sort of
gonna
like
say
Seven
like
Seal.
I've heard the theory, the reverse theory that whole scare was basically just to throw up a whole bunch of other scapegoats for one case that actually was real but embarrassed an important person. Something like that.
I'm old, but I'm not that old. It was a
Yeah.
little before my time.
Before
I know
my
that
too,
Tom
so I don't
Hanks
think
was
it
in a
happened.
movie that was hilarious to watch in college.
Yeah, basically
Flash.
the theory I'd heard that there was that one abuse case, and then a whole bunch of fake ones were basically generated because the one case happened to embarrass somebody important, and they needed a whole bunch of fake ones to cover it up, or something like that. But
Shit
who
like that's
knows?
always too. Like it's never the game, man. It's always whatever you're doing with it or whatever you brought into it.
If you shoot up a place after playing Grand Theft Auto, there's a problem with you, not the game.
Yeah, exactly.
And there's
Nobody does that.
There's also the problem of interpretation because I've listened to songs that I have no idea what the artist intended when they wrote them to be.
Yeah.
And that I find out later, and it's like, wow, that's totally different from what I interpreted the song to be.
But also, you watch movies all the time. We read the EU because we read Darth Plagueis and Sidious kills his master. Does that mean we got to go and kill our boss tomorrow?
No.
Yeah,
No.
right.
And you watch a million movies with blood and gore and guns.
Bro,
all the
I
time.
play violent ass video games all the time. I have never thought, let me just go
Dude,
rip,
how's Satan
beat somebody up.
gonna be a factor in Doom when you're literally killing Satan?
Yeah, I mean, the whole video games are violent and movies are violent and all that stupid. That's just fucking stupid because
that's just boomers not understanding fucking
there
technology.
There were things like the Spanish Inquisition, Attila the Hun, all of this super violent, butchering crap that we've done to each other over thousands of years. Well before we had modern books and stuff like
People
that.
couldn't even read back then, books.
Exactly.
Yeah, they could literally. We were like one
Humans
step
are
up
violent
from animals.
from our nature.
People don't. I think people
Are you okay?
slightly underestimate literacy rates, though. A lot more people could read than you think.
Yeah.
Well, I'm talking about like Middle East tribes fighting each other back in the day.
Yeah,
Stuff like that.
maybe back then it was a little bit less common, but there were a
Middle
lot
East-
of writing.
I mean, people back in the day in the Middle East were still, I think, smarter than we give them credit for.
Oh
I
yeah,
think
smarter. It's just literacy and intelligence are not exactly the same.
Well, a lot of
that's the cradle
people
of civilization, Mesopotamia, and the first folklore novel, the Gilgamesh, comes from them. So what I was referring to mostly was kind of just tribalism and warring kind of factions.
And no video
I mean, the
games.
violence that they would pull pales in comparison, and just the idea of that was before media, folklore, etc.
Yeah, like the Assyrians would literally march against enemy cities with the flayed skin of the last city strapped to their shields, and they never read a comic book or watched a movie.
They never watched Freddy or Jason.
And if
you know how to do that.
If you get biblical for a second, the Canaanites, just because this is what they do, not because they watched a scary movie, they took babies, put them on an altar, and watched them burn. Not burn, they watched them melt because they were on like a bronze statue.
They put them in a furnace.
I mean,
and they would literally melt.
It's horrible, but I mean, you could just because somebody can read doesn't mean they're smart. I mean, a lot of times what happened in medieval times.
I mean, everybody can read today, and there's a whole lot of dumb people.
What would happen is
people get their driver's license and they somehow still can't drive in California. So.
Oh my God! Preach.
No, dude,
Driving
nobody
in California
drives
thank God I
anywhere
don't
as bad as these fucking Yankees. I hate it so much.
Where are you?
Where are you at?
I'm in Connecticut right now, unfortunately.
Connecticut?
Yeah.
That's right next to Massachusetts, which is known for bad drivers. So
I hate it. Dude, I'm like 20 minutes from the border with Massachusetts. It's like I can't.
I'll tell you the worst drivers I've ever encountered. Matt Wilkins, if you're listening right now, your state has the worst fucking driver in the United States of America.
I thought you were about to call him out. Be like, you almost killed me, you son of a bitch.
Drivers?
Yes, go down to Louisiana. Go drive in Baton Rouge and don't think you know and you'll drive 5 minutes and think, oh my god, somebody gonna hit me, gonna fucking jackknife me. Like they drive like garbage.
That's why we need computers to do it for us.
Maybe not quite that.
Just I don't want to worry about it anymore.
This is gonna become my backstory for the Cars movies. Because there's still human stuff in Cars, but there's no humans. So how did that happen?
All right, so here's a question though: does
they became
Pixar do that
self-driving,
on purpose,
They
or
had
is that
to.
just like
Look, there's
emergent?
buildings that they can't even enter, which implies that there used to be people around, which means this is a post-apocalyptic world.
I mean, I love how Alex is doing a
That's
deep
fair.
dive on freaking Cars.
No, I mean
It's
that's
been done
fair.
before.
Like the thing with movies is that everything you see on screen has to be purposeful, right? Because it costs money, especially when you're animating it. And like he's right, they can't even go in it. But but is it purposeful, or is it just because they're like, we need this to look like a town?
Okay. So Disney has like a known thing of like putting in like subtle adult jokes because most of these kids can't go to the theater themselves, so they keep the adults entertained by like having like sex jokes in the show.
Like with the
Yeah.
Little Mermaid did that fantastically.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll never forget that priest boner.
I mean, didn't what
Somebody
what-
is gonna snip that out and ruin my future presidential campaign.
Yeah. Hold on. What was it? Was it the Lion King that had sex spelled out in the clouds?
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, that's.
And then
The only one I don't remember ever having any of those jokes, and maybe I haven't watched it enough, and I've watched it a bunch of times, was like Treasure Planet. I don't remember any like dirty jokes in that movie.
They stayed pretty earnest in that.
Yeah.
Although they did have the
remember-
whole male pregnancy thing at the end, so I'd call that.
Yeah.
That would
I
count.
don't remember that. I haven't seen that movie in like 20
I'm
years.
pretty
That
sure the
movie
cat
is so
lady got the dog
underrated.
pregnant at
That
the
movie
end.
is so fucking underrated, bro. It's like my favorite. That and Atlantis are like the.
I
really good.
loved Atlantis.
Those two are like the best Disney
Back when
Disney
Disney was
anime.
good.
Dude,
That was- those two are the
Disney's
best.
legit.
Those two were like, why the fuck did other movies take off, but these two didn't? Like these.
So that was that's what I was. So Disney's
got
old movies
Two
like that
sequels
were
to
legit,
Aladdin.
but they had like a formula to it. And there's this guy, Savage Books. It's a great channel. You guys should check it out. Everybody watching, go check it out. He has an Atlantis video where he talks about like why that movie is so different from the other Disney movies that were coming out at the time. And it's a really crazy story. The guy that made that movie had to fight to get that movie made.
They had to fight to make that movie they had to fight to make Treasure Planet as well. Like
Yeah,
and
he talks about that too, because I'm pretty sure it's the same guy if I remember right.
I think it's different. I think the team were different, but you know Disney wanted that movie to fail. Let me tell you why. They put it out the same week as the first Harry Potter movie came out, or the second one, I think.
Both of those movies, though, they have like outright death, and they deal with like overt sexual themes, which was a no-go for Disney at the time.
Yeah,
but like it's not just like implied in the background or like a subliminal message. Like there's legitimate sexual tension between Milo and that Atlantean girl.
yeah, but he also like I think Treasure Planet got killed because, as I said, like they put it against. I think it was the Chamber of Secrets. Like, what? How do you expect a movie like Treasure Planet to do well against a fucking cultural juggernaut that was Harry Potter?
When Harry Potter was in its heyday, that shit was crazy.
Harry Potter was the Star Wars of the 2000s, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it was fucking.
Yo, that's one that has an expanded universe like Star Wars does.
Yeah.
Does it?
Yeah, there's a lot. They've got source books. I had them. It was like
I thought the only thing canon was the J.K. Rowling books, and that's it. Like,
And
No.
she, yeah,
They
and
got
she
a
wrote.
whole bunch of other stuff. There's
She wrote
Fantastic
What?
Beasts and Where to Find
Oh,
Them.
I know
wrote those.
Fantastic
oh,
Beasts.
Fantastic Beasts, yeah,
That's
Fantastic
more like
Beasts.
a prequel situation of
Well, no,
sorts.
it started out as like a source book.
Well, yeah, that's what they did. Literally all of the textbooks in Hogwarts you could buy. I had
See you,
most of
Marcel.
them. Yo, later, man.
Yeah, I mean, that would, I don't know, like, of people of my generation, like, that was their, like, Star Wars. Like, you know, for people of the 70s and 80s, like, Star Wars was
I
their
remember
franchise. And Harry Potter was that for, like, for the 2000s, for sure. I mean,
Yeah, dude, I was the same age as
Sure,
Harry
it's not
for
Twilight.
every book that was releasing. Like I started reading it when the third one was out. So I read the first three, and then the fourth one was coming out. And at that point, I was the same age as him for every year as the books were releasing.
I don't know how they could have contradictions because, like, it's written by one person.
Dude, Harry Potter, it's not. It does have so much contradictions, but it's not. It's because it's not meant to be. Like, Rowling didn't write it to be an EU. They built an EU around it because they marketed the shit out of it.
I mean, they were children's books.
Yeah, like, it's meant to be a self-contained story with a very narrow focus. Like, that's why there's 7 continents and, like, there's, like, 5 wizarding schools and 3 of them are in Britain. You know, like, it's not meant to go beyond that. It's just that it sold $1 billion fucking dollars. So they were like, guess what? We're printing all this other stuff.
Well, you could make the argument that the books themselves are like the 6 Lucas movies, and then everything around or intertwined with it could be its own expanded universe.
Yeah, exactly. She's just not as talented at world building as Lucas was.
No.
Like,
You don't really read,
to be frank,
Harry Potter world building.
Yeah,
exactly.
Moment.
You read it for the story.
Okay,
like, exactly.
You read it. Okay,
tale.
okay. So I'll say like this. Yes, the story is the most important part of the Harry Potter book, but the world is.
But what do you really learn throughout the 7 books?
It's not
outside of Hogwarts.
The world of Hogwarts, not the world of Harry Potter, is broad, fantastic, and ripe for exploitation. That's why they're making a big fucking budget video game about Hogwarts.
Bro, I'm getting that, by the way, and I'm gonna be evil as fuck. You can use the unforgivable curses, and I'm just saying I'm gonna have the best grades ever because I'm gonna torture the shit out of my teachers for them. Let's go, dark side.
Dark side ending.
I have to. Like, I just.
We already got the Lego.
If you're gonna give me the option to Avada Kedavra people in Hogwarts, it's gonna happen, man. Like, come on. I don't know why they would actually make that possible.
Isn't it a prequel game?
Yeah,
it's a prequel.
It takes place in like the 1880 or something.
So like before Dumbledore.
Yeah, Dumbledore's not there.
Pumped up kicks in Star Wars in fucking Hogwarts. Wonderful.
It's basically it's a self-contained story. It's completely unconnected to anything else.
I was gonna say, did you hear that apparently the director and Weird Al have said the Weird Al biopic is going to have absolutely no research on Weird Al's actual life because Al has said his life is kind of boring, so they're just gonna make something up.
That's
what he wanted. Yeah,
I know
exactly what he wanted. The director says, "I promise, we didn't research it. We've done absolutely no research. Al just said go wild and do something funny, so that's what we're gonna do."
That's actually
I love that so
That's
much,
genius.
dude. And they casted it perfectly.
Daniel Radcliffe.
Isn't it? Which is exactly what was on topic.
There you go.
Yeah, it's Daniel Radcliffe, and he looks exactly like him with the mustache and the hair.
Great.
Did you know somebody tried to? I think it was Daniel Radcliffe. Like, you know how Robert Pattinson got the role as Batman? He went to go in to play that role, and they were like, "Hell, fucking no! You are not good enough to play Batman, Daniel Radcliffe." And that's just funny to me that like a B player in one of the movies got the role, but he didn't.
Yes.
I mean, I'll be honest. I did not think that freaking. Wait, are we talking about? You said Batman, right? You're talking about Robert Pattinson. Yeah, I didn't think he was gonna be a good Bruce Wayne at all. And then I saw him in the movie, and he was fucking fantastic. He's the best Bruce Wayne I've ever seen.
Yes. Yep.
Like legit. And he's a good Batman too. Like he was the closest Batman that I've seen in live action to the animated series, which to
No,
me is the
bro, like
benchmark.
it reminds me of reading like it's like the Long Halloween coming off.
Yeah,
Did the
dude, it was
page
great. Yes.
onto the screen. That's why I was like, bro, like when I see people, it's like, well, fucking Affleck was better than Pattinson. I was like, the fuck are you smoking?
I was like, we didn't watch the same movie. Like I've seen every single Batman since Michael Keaton.
Affleck was
And-
good in the director's cut version of
I-
Daredevil.
I liked Affleck as Batman. I just didn't think he was the best.
Yeah.
One that
I was
there's been
just-
so many. It's
I was just trying to show the director's cut version of the Daredevil movie because that is the biggest improvement from the theatrical version out there, other than maybe Kingdom of Heaven.
Kingdom of Heaven is one of my favorite movies.
But
because
yeah,
of
I've
the
heard that.
director's cut.
I've heard Kingdom of Heaven is basically like the director's cut is like a 10 or a 9, and the
I'm
cinematic
sorry.
cut is like a 4.
I can't even watch Kingdom of Heaven. I think it's such a
Wait,
bad movie.
Does the director's cut, the extended cut or whatever it's called, does it have more Eva Green?
A lot more. There's it's a
She's in
completely
more
different
scenes?
movie. It's a completely different movie. It's so good. Like
Then I will
it's one of my
check
favorite
this
movies.
out,
Yeah.
because I will watch everything with Eva Green in it.
Yeah.
Have you
it's
guys
really good.
seen the Ang Lee Hulk before?
Yes,
I
watched it
I
too.
appreciate
watched
it more
twice.
now.
I
I
would
did
like it more if
originally.
it didn't do the janky ass comic book cut.
I know, but I like.
thing.
I see.
I kinda
it
like
is.
that.
It is weird, but at the same time, it makes it more interesting than the bland, samey movies that we're getting now with the MCU. At
That's
least
what
it
I love
tried.
about it.
It tried.
That's what I love about
I
it.
mean,
Okay.
I'll give you that it
Unique.
breaks it up, but I think that's the issue. Is that like
Also, okay.
something crazy will happen, and like instead of letting the scene set so that it really like has impact, it'll like happen, and then
Okay.
it'll start to set, and then
I
it'll
just want
turn
to.
into
I just want
comic
to
book
say
canon.
Universal was like really off the wall to like have Ang Lee direct the movie, because I don't know if you guys know Ang Lee is a Taiwanese film director known for wuxia films
Yeah,
mostly,
he's a crazy motherfucker.
and he's known for Brokeback Mountain.
Yeah, but
Well,
Brokeback
Brokeback
Mountain
didn't
was a
come
great
out-
film.
Brokeback Mountain didn't come out until after the Hulk movie.
Yeah, it was 2 years after, and
Yeah, and
it
it was a
was
good.
like-
It was a good
it,
movie.
it-
I mean,
it
let's
was
be
certainly.
honest.
It's certainly a choice, but I'll take the Hulk over like almost anything modern Marvel or DC.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
let me tell you
My-
why. Like, okay, so the X-Men, the whole the Dark Knight trilogy, stuff like that,
Mhm.
they felt like, you know what, they're not trying to build this universe, they're just trying to tell
A single
stories.
story.
And a lot of them fail at that. Like, I would say most of the X-Men movies fail at that.
Yes,
But at least it
yeah,
tries.
Don't get me started on those, man.
But they're still
Well-
fun to watch for that reason. Like they are bad, but you know they're
Problem
bad.
is, much like I won't watch Chinatown, I'm not watching the X-Men movies again until the director's dead or in prison.
Oh yeah, Bryan Singer is a piece of shit. Fuck him.
Well, speaking of that, I will watch X-Men: The Last Stand, and I think that's actually the best of the 3 X-Men movies, to be honest. You got a
I think
great
that's the OG
score,
ones.
you got great action, you
I
got
just
Kelsey
want.
Grammer as Beast.
Grammar.
I'm the Juggernaut witch.
Honestly,
okay.
Kelsey Grammer as Beast was possibly the greatest casting choice in a generation.
Okay,
It was
okay.
so
I just
We've
want
only
to.
got
I just
one
want.
movie.
I just want to say this. Okay, we got great castings. Patrick Stewart as Professor X, Kelsey Grammer as Beast, but then we got fucking Channing Tatum cast as Gambit. The fuck!
They still haven't made that movie either.
They're never gonna make that movie. And if they
Thank
make
God.
that movie, the people of Louisiana are gonna fucking riot because that movie's gonna be so fucking bad.
The
Still
Gambit
get-
movie should have been made in the 90s, and it should have been Jean-Claude Van Damme as Gambit.
Hell no!
Yeah, I'd
Jean-Claude
watch
Van
that.
Damme. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know if he could do Gambit in the '90s. Maybe a little
No,
earlier.
you couldn't. But I would have.
He could.
Van Damme.
I mean, it definitely would have
No,
been
he's still
entertaining
pretty
to watch.
fit. He's still pretty fit.
Dude, yeah, he's
I-
fit even now. He can break me in half.
I would just say this: like those X-Men movies are so Like, there's really good ones and there's like really bad ones. And it's like
I mean, I would
The
watch any of
best
the X-Men
Hulk,
movies
though, was
over a lot of
definitely Edward
MCU
Norton.
now.
I just want to say that it is weird to me. Like this is why the whole connected universe thing has kind of ruined movies in my opinion. Like because you had Halle Berry as Storm and then Halle Berry like 1 year as Catwoman. It's like wow,
Dude. And props to her for accepting that Razzie. Legit.
Yeah.
that movie is legit garbage. I'm not gonna
She
lie.
took it on the chin though. She
Yeah,
took it on the chin like
there
a
was-
champ.
Yeah, good on her, but you know what? She should have said no. This movie's garbage.
She should have
Oh,
gotten
Oh, she
it.
did.
That one
She
movie
accepted
is
the
garbage.
Razzie.
No,
That's what
she
I'm
should have
saying.
never made the movie. That's what I'm saying. That movie is garbage.
Well, I mean, it's easy to say that, like
Paycheck's
in
a paycheck,
hindsight,
man.
like but for an actor too, like
Gotta pay
you
the bills.
oftentimes don't get to see a lot of these creative decisions, and then like stuff gets.
Man,
dumped
I
on
don't give
you
a fuck
after
as a
that.
paycheck.
But they read the
You
script,
wasted
though.
my time. Fuck your
Yeah, but
paycheck.
stuff changes on the minute, like
That
especially.
is true. There's a lot of times you'll have like a completely different script, and by the time you're in the beginning of filming,
Exactly.
it's not. even the
I
same
really
thing.
don't believe the script was any better
No,
before.
I don't think so.
That's why
for
the
Catwoman. I'm
directors
saying
are
it does
important to
happen.
know because you
Yeah,
have
I'm
to
just saying,
understand
she
what the
probably-
director's vision is going to be for that particular script. The script
Man.
can tell you so much, but the director and the intended vision of it tells you a lot about where you're going to end
Okay,
up.
I get all that.
Yeah.
You're right, but it's fucking Catwoman, so I'm not gonna. And
Yeah.
I'm not gonna regress from any of my points because it's fucking Catwoman. That movie sucks
That's fair.
balls.
Hey, you
I
know
mean,
what
it
was a good
terrible
Marvel
movie.
thing that came out before the MCU was a thing? The
Blade.
first two Blade. Yeah.
Dude,
Those
the
Blade
second
movies are
Blade
awesome.
legitimately scared
Third
me.
one's bad, but the first two are good.
Have you guys seen Blade 3? That movie is such a
Anything with
disaster.
Ryan Reynolds in
I
it,
watched it
don't
the other
like.
day just because I like to laugh at how
Did
bad it is.
was it true? I think I read it's true that Wesley Snipes like sucker punched the director in the face. And that's
He did
that
not-
movie.
he
I
did
heard
not
he
like-
choked him.
He did not like the director in the third one, and he actively like gave them a hard time. Like every time
I
they
heard
filmed a
he
single
punched
scene-
him.
I don't
Yeah.
think he would have gotten
To be
away.
honest, it's David
Yeah.
Goyer, so he probably deserved it.
He did not
mean-
try in a lot of the scenes. He he just ignored the
I-
directing
He was
advice.
Some-
holding it in for
There
a
was a
lot of it, I
fight.
think.
There was a fight on one of those movie sets. I think.
You could tell Wesley Snipes was pissed off from the third one.
Well,
He was not
You know
having
what?
a good time.
Right. he
bring
was
bring. I want Wesley Snipes' Blade back. Okay, I
saying,
want a Blade. I want it back.
Old Man
Okay.
Blade.
Unfortunately,
Honestly,
we're not
after
getting
that
him
fucking
back. We're
IRS,
getting somebody new.
after the real life vampires fucked with him, he's not himself anymore. Like poor
Yeah.
guy did not do so well in jail.
I
mean,
Oh,
nobody does.
Okay, so,
Let's be
since we're talking about old superhero movies, okay, since I told this to people, Matty, you said you watched Batman and Robin until the VHS tape broke, right, earlier?
Yeah.
Okay, do you know the scene where they're like street racing in the movie?
Yeah,
With
him
statues
and
and
Barbara.
Yeah. Okay. Do you know? You see the guy with the dreads, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
God,
You
that
know
movie had such. That was like the nutty ass fucking meth filled Tim Burton version of Batman.
Do you
Okay,
like the
so-
fat
so-
credit
so-
card?
Yeah, the back
That was
card.
Joel Schumacher. That was all
Okay.
Joel Schumacher.
Yeah,
though.
okay, hold on. Let me finish this. Okay, that was a rapper named Coolio who recently passed away. right?
Yeah. I was
Who
about
played
to
that?
say R.I.P. Coolio.
Who played that? Do you know what his role was to be in the sequel to Batman and Robin?
I do not. I never.
He
heard
was
that.
supposed to play fucking Scarecrow.
What the fuck?
Because of his
Fuck
hair.
outta here.
His name? No, it's true. He said his role is credited as banker, but Joel Schumacher told him his role in the movie was Jonathan Crane.
What is that? Why they made? Isn't there an animated version of Scarecrow that has dreads like that? Is that why they did that?
No,
I think you're thinking
that
of the
was
Joker. No,
Yeah,
that's-
that's right.
that's
And that's a
funny.
great Batman
Batman.
show, by the way. The
It is
Batman.
actually.
yeah,
pretty good.
that's my favorite.
I've
Batman
never.
animated series.
The only Batman animated
No, it's
shows
not
I've
even
seen are
animated
the
series.
animated series and
Okay.
Batman Beyond, and I don't need
You-
to see
you need-
anymore.
Well, you need to
Batman
watch the
Beyond is
Batman.
great.
It's great.
Oh,
Yeah,
and,
Batman is
I've seen
legit
the Justice
really good.
League shows too.
Anyway, but I'm just like, wow, we dodged a fucking bullet here because like, we literally avoided a rapper playing the Scarecrow. Like,
Dude, they didn't
that
even
could've been
hint at that
hilarious,
at all.
though.
There's nothing in that scene at all that hints that he's Scarecrow in
Yeah,
any way.
Yes, but this is Joel Schumacher we're talking about, so I believe it 100%.
He would have just been like, "Remember this guy?" And everybody would be like, "Not at all." What the
Yeah,
fuck are you talking
yeah,
Joel
about?
Schumacher must have been on drugs all
Yeah,
throughout
but
the late 90s.
here's the thing. Joel Schumacher was like, "Fuck it, we're not even gonna get a properly trained actor or an actor who works on movies. We're gonna get a fucking rapper to play our villain. God damn it!"
That was
Yeah,
horror
some of those
movies.
decisions he
a
went
lot
full
of
critical
rappers.
drinker. Nah, it'll be fine.
Yeah,
It'll be fine.
that was a thing in the '90s though, with like because Will Smith started it, like rappers going.
Yeah, but
actors.
Will Smith and LL Cool
Tupac
J
did,
are
I
good.
thought.
Oh,
are
and
good
Mark
actors.
Wahlberg and Mark Wahlberg.
When
they
they
keep
try.
talking
Mark
about
Wahlberg
him.
with the Basketball Diaries. Tupac
Yeah.
with Poetic. No, Tupac was in Juice. And that was 90.
Yeah, but those are good actors.
Yeah,
Those are good actors who are also who are mainly rappers, but they're good actors. I guarantee you, if Coolio played the Scarecrow, it would have been worse than Batman and Robin. Like, could you imagine a movie worse than Batman and Robin?
Yep.
it would have
Yeah.
been like it would
Force
have been
Awakens.
like it would have been.
Yeah.
All right, so do you think it would have been worse for Coolio to play that role or to keep Arnold as Mr. Freeze?
I'd take Arnold as Mr.
Freeze
Freeze.
is underrated.
Arnold as Mr. Freeze was amazing. I'm sorry, it was so good.
unintentionally funny.
I'm
goes,
going
"Get
to
the
take the heart
dinosaurs."
of Gotham
What,
and freeze it.
what killed the
The
dinosaur?
dinosaurs. The
Ice Age.
It's like no, it didn't.
Well,
No, it
kind-
didn't.
No,
Like
it didn't.
this is the '90s. Like this is common knowledge.
Well, it was an
You just
ice
wanted to
age,
say a cool line, man.
not the ice age.
And it was cool.
Let's kick some
It,
ice.
it was
very
it was an ice pun, you know. It's like I still can't believe they rehabilitated Mr. Freeze on the Batman the Animated Series.
You know who
Only-
should have been?
Think, Batman,
Oh.
Batman the Animated Series episode came out before.
yeah,
Batman
it came
and
out
Robin.
way before.
Batman and
You
Robin
know
was
who should have been
mixing
Mr.
the
Freeze?
animated series with like the older like 60s Batman and kind of just combining them into one and
Okay,
making
since we're talking
art-
about
making
Joel
art.
Schumacher's
Patrick Stewart.
Batman movies, can we all agree that Tommy Lee Jones is like the worst part of
Yes.
Batman Forever?
Yes.
Because he's
He's-
half-assing it the whole time.
I
Everyone
blame
else-
Jim
Of course he's
Carrey.
half-assing it.
Dude,
I
Jim
blame
Jim-
Carrey is going all out that whole movie.
I know, but
He's
I blame.
going- and so is Uma Thurman. Honestly, she goes all out too. That whole
That's
movie.
That's
why
not.
Batman and
You're thinking
Robin
of.
is better
You're
than
thinking of
Batman
Nicole
Forever.
Kidman in Batman Forever.
My bad, man. I'm so bad with fucking names.
Yeah, but here's the thing, bro. I blame Jim Carrey because apparently the reason he's half-assing is because he hates Jim Carrey. So,
Yeah,
and
that's
I believe
because that's
Wait,
because
he's half.
stuck
How
up.
does he hate Jim
No,
Carrey?
yeah,
He hates-
because
he hates
Jim
Jim
Carrey
Car-
is goofy and he's a serious actor.
Well, let me
And
tell
then
you
he-
something, okay? I'll take Tommy Lee Jones over Jim Carrey any day.
I heard Jim Carrey's
J-
a dick.
Jim
Oh,
Carrey
sure.
ain't never had No Place for Old Men or whatever the fuck it's called.
I mean,
No.
I guess,
No
but
Country
like,
for
no
Old Men.
time
It's a
for-
great
no-
movie.
Yeah, No Time for Old.
but you
No
can
Country.
definitely
But
tell in
Oh,
that
Country.
movie
Schumacher
that
movies aren't
Tommy Lee
serious.
Jones
They
is
should be.
half-assing his role
He's
like
serious.
crazy.
No, absolutely. He's
Like
playing
you
it
can tell it.
Yeah.
The problem is he's half-assing it and he's playing the Joker.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why, if you're such a good actor, then why are you half-assing it? Like,
Because-
it should
because
be
he
easy
doesn't
for you
fight.
then.
No,
'Cause
it
he's-
doesn't matter if you're pissed
No,
off
no,
the
no,
actor,
because
you
like
should just
look at another comparable situation,
act
right?
good.
Like
like you
Alec
like the other
Guinness.
person.
Alec Guinness hated Star Wars with a burning passion.
When he
So
did it,
much
he didn't.
That the day of
hate it.
Okay,
rapping, he
I'm not
left
defending
immediately.
Tommy Lee Jones.
And
I
he
hate.
still gave it everything he had.
Okay. So hold on. Don't get it twisted. I think Tommy Lee Jones is fucking wrong for doing that. But I'll just play devil's advocate. That set was a fucking mess. Val Kilmer was a fucking diva on set. Was literally fighting with Joel Schumacher the entire time.
That's very fair.
Jim Carrey was literally doing whatever the fuck Jim Carrey was doing. Tommy Lee Jones hated fucking Jim Carrey, so that adds to it. The script fucking sucks.
The script is so bad.
Also, like, what the fuck is the point of Nicole Kidman in the movie other than to look hot? Like, why she?
That's the point. That's the point. And she's
Yeah.
she's a psychiatrist, so she helps Batman piece together that moment.
Okay,
where he
so
sees the
I
bat.
watch a channel called Superhero Stuff You Don't Know. They cover like a lot of the Batman movies from the 90s, and they literally said the reason her name is Chase Meridian is because he's chasing the middle.
What?
That's literally why he named. That's what Joel Schumacher said.
What does
That's
that
why
mean?
It doesn't mean anything. It's fucking stupid.
I think they mean he's trying to be normal. I guess
So much
the middle.
cocaine.
I have no
Hollywood
Trying
idea.
was
to
coming
balance
off
both
cocaine in the
aspects of his
90s.
personality, the Batman and Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, he's trying to find
yeah.
a balance. He's trying to find a balance.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
And she
That's the
actually
point of the
helps him
movie.
do that in the end, to be honest.
Yeah, that is.
Okay,
actually
the
fair.
most. Okay, so there's my two biggest problems with the movie is Chris O'Donnell is too old to be playing fucking Robin. This is ridiculous. He looks
Yeah.
He looks 40 in the role. Even though he's like 28, he looks 40.
Yeah, he did look really old. He looked older than fucking.
It's- Okay, so
Val
That,
Kilmer?
yes, thank you.
yeah, okay.
God damn it, dude! Seriously, like, people in my head are like attributes.
Yeah, so here's the thing. He's playing. Why is he Robin? I don't know. Like, why can we not have a kid version of Robin in the fucking Batman movie? It's just
I mean,
astounding.
Well,
I
because
can
kids shouldn't
understand
be involved
not
in Hollywood
having a
productions at all.
child, but like, why not get like an actual like 18, 19-year-old gymnast? Like,
But it's still too old to play Robin, though. Like, what? He's
you could pull
Personally,
it
I
off.
don't think there should be children in any Hollywood movie, given Hollywood.
Yeah.
being what
Kinda
it
with
is.
you.
But
Well,
How old
let me
is
say this. Let me
Teen
say this. The
Titans?
closest thing we ever got to Batman and Robin, as they're supposed to be depicted in live action, is Big Daddy and Kick-Ass. That's
yeah, it's like it could have worked like that. But anyway, that's not the point. Robin is so fucking old. Like, get him the fuck out of here. And he literally tells Robin, "You shouldn't kill people. It will just bring you hurt." And then he fucking murders Two-Face. In the same movie, he told Robin not to kill people. He murders Two-Face.
That movie was a train wreck that 6-7-year-old me loved.
Like,
so
at
much.
least I hate the Burton films for like all the murder that Batman does. I think it's terrible.
At least it's not like
but
officially.
at least
I'm gonna
Tim
say- Sorry.
Burton didn't have the ball. Hold on, let me finish.
Yeah.
At least Tim Burton didn't have the balls to go have Batman go on a spiel about him not killing people, and then he fucking kills a bunch of people in this movie. Joel Schumacher did that.
I was just gonna say that I'm probably gonna end it soon.
Okay.
That's fair.
This is
Okay.
a good time to end it for
12
me
a.m.
too. I wanted to jump off.
All right.
Yeah,
That's fair.
actually
Yeah, I
gotta
think
get
I'll
out
just
of
end
here
it
soon.
now. Yeah.
Alex, thanks for having me on.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, thanks for having
thanks
me
for
on.
the invite.
No
I didn't really know what that was, but I'm glad.
I
popped
didn't
in.
know either. Look, so here's the backstory. I got a whole bunch of people on social media. Somebody was like, "Yo, you should stream." I'm like, "I don't know. I got home from work. I'm tired." Like, "Okay, I'll come on with you." I'm like, "Okay, I guess we can talk about Star Wars."
Can we talk about how
course.
crazy Pacific time is?
What? You
Like,
guys
literally-
can.
Literally,
If I end the broadcast, you guys and I leave the chat, you guys can still talk even if I'm not here.
all right,
so-
yeah.
Yeah. You guys can talk as long as you want on this.
Bro, you literally messaged me at 8 p.m. and it was like, and you just got off of work, bro. I was just about to head to bed. Like, what the fuck? California be
Sorry.
wildin', bro. Like, California.
Oh yeah.
No wonder
They're
they're all
very
so
wild.
crazy over there.
We're just
Yeah.
some of them are just stupid out here, man.
Man,
Everything
No
in California
sense.
sucks.
Mm-hmm.
that's why everybody's
I'll
moving,
be
bro.
up later than everyone.
Yeah, but
Zero
then they bring all their
interest.
stupidity elsewhere. Because even the stupid idiots realize it's terrible over here, so they move, but they don't realize that the reason it sucks is because of them, and then they just bring it to other places.
Or they're like,
Welcome to Austin.
Gary from Neurotic, and they realize
Austin's always
stupid policies.
That's such a cope from people who
True.
like.
Austin has always sucked, but Dallas and Houston didn't used to suck this bad, and now they suck too. So
Man,
that one is California.
The great asshole migration.
no, you can't blame people for California on the crime in Houston and Dallas. That's fucking bullshit.
I
They
wasn't
just
saying crime. I was just saying the craziness.
The
Yeah,
cultural craziness. I
Cultural.
guess.
I live near Houston. It's
Politics
not
and
like
whatnot.
it's really not like that. I mean, it's
Oh,
there's people.
interesting.
Yeah, what you read on or hear on the internet is just it's like that in Austin. It's not like that in Houston at all.
All right. I see.
Fair enough.
All right.
I
I've
believe
only been to
that.
Houston once, so I have no idea.
I don't get to travel much, so I go to work and I come back home.
That,
That's
well,
my
you
life.
can't. You're banned from
Same.
entry to the United States. You live in Uganda.
Yeah, my internet does usually suck. So, well, have a good night, everyone. If you want to keep
But at least
talking,
he knows Kung Fu because everyone in Uganda knows Kung Fu. God
What?
bless Hollywood. Have you guys never watched Who Killed Captain Alex?
Yes, cinema.
what?
Not yet.
It's on YouTube.